care economy workers is worsening job shortages in the private sector. Employers in cleaning and hospitality have told News Corp a union push for above-inflation pay rises for NDIS disability workers will cause staff to pack up and change jobs. Childcare workers are also getting more cash to splash. The Business Council of Australia is also concerned that the pay rises are being handed out without any growth in productivity. Economists say the jobless rate would need to get to about 4.5% to slow wage growth and ease inflationary pressure.
The historic Greek town of Marathon, north of Athens, is engulfed in flames from a spreading wildfire. 7,000 people are being moved to safety and 2 hospitals have been evacuated.
It hurts. We have grown up in the forest. We feel great sadness and anger.
All of the area that is burning here, it was olive trees. It was an agricultural area. All the residents here have olive groves or vines, and all of these are burned, all of them destroyed.
Translation from the BBC. A man was arrested after allegedly smashing car windows with a hammer at Westlakes. 4 vehicles had their windows broken, 2 in the Boulevard Shopping Centre car park and 2 other vehicles parked in nearby Phillip Street. It's not known if anything was stolen from the cars. A man was arrested several hours later after police received a report of a person causing a disturbance at a service station at Royal Park. The 38-year-old Seaton man was arrested and charged with 4 counts of property damage, possessing an object with intent to cause property damage, and of carrying an offensive weapon. The hard work and dedication of Red Cross volunteers is being celebrated as it marks 110 years. Iconic landmarks across Australia will be lit up red tonight. New South Wales Director Kate Miranda says Australian Red Cross has been deeply woven into the fabric of the nation since World War I.
We've played a vital role in the lives of millions, from the contributions of Red Cross lifeblood to our broader humanitarian efforts. We've been there through every major natural disaster to support people and communities right across the country.
Parents are being told to double-check baby food packaging, with many falling short of World Health Organization standards. A study of infant and toddler foods on supermarket shelves has found a number of unregulated claims, misleading parents into thinking the often sugar-loaded products are healthy. Dietitian Daisy Coyle says the littlest Australians are being let down and deserve the best start to life.
We looked at 300 packaged foods in infants and toddlers and saw that 80% failed to meet the World Health Organization nutritional benchmarks, and none of them met the marketing and promotional guidelines set by the World Health Organization.
Now to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Adelaide will be without former skipper Taylor Walker for Saturday night's showdown after he sustained an eye injury in the loss to the Bulldogs on Sunday. The 34-year-old has had surgery to fix a damaged pupil. The Power are also set to be without some key forwards, with Todd Marshall set to miss with concussion, while Mitch Georgiades is likely to miss another week with a thigh strain. Still on football, and Matthew Lloyd says since Tom de Koning has been on the sidelines, Carlton hasn't been the same side. The Blues have lost 5 of their last 6 games and are now sitting in 9th place on the ladder.
I think since the big fella de Koning went out, they haven't looked the same. Just the enthusiasm that he brings, he's a point of difference, and I don't think the midfield's been the same since he left the team.
Let's go to basketball, and the Adelaide 36ers will try to get things back to normal after a tumultuous day at the club. Management decided to sack coach Scott Ninnis just months after signing him to a new deal and have handed the reins to Mike Wells. Ninnis is understood to be furious with the decision. And Australian tennis player Alexei Popyrin will this morning play in his first Masters 1000 final. The 25-year-old, who has just moved to a career-high ranking of 30, takes on Andrei Rublev at the Canadian Open final. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Partly cloudy and 22 today. Tomorrow sunny 21. Thursday showers developing 24. And Friday showers back down to 17. Currently it's 17 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings. Tom Wren for Sport.
Jade Robran on the scene as it happens. Graham Goodings and Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide. Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local, and only on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Heating and cooling experts. So imagine how much you can save when they join forces with EcoVantage, the incentive experts. Together with Right Price, EcoVantage will help you source all the government incentives you're entitled to when it comes to heating and cooling your home, including energy-efficient heat pump hot water systems. Right Price and EcoVantage, the best of both worlds when it comes to heating, cooling and government incentives.
As we get older, it's okay to have a little help around the home. Not everything, just the things that are becoming tiresome or a little harder to do than they used to be. Get in touch with Alpha Support at Home and you won't have to worry about a thing.
These guys are great. Alpha Support at Home can help with your day-to-day. Things like food shopping, cooking, house cleaning, transport, gardening, getting you to the physio, through to personal care and in-home nursing. Plus, you may be eligible for government funding.
Alpha Support at Home will work with you to develop a personalised plan designed to enable you to continue living independently in the comfort of your own home. Search Alpha Support at Home to get started or visit alphasupportathome.com.au.
It's showtime at Wayville Hyundai. The best time to get your car serviced with free parking, complimentary $25 food and drink coupon, and a free car wash and vacuum. Change the way you Hyundai at Wayville Hyundai, opposite the showground.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday on 5AA Breakfast. It is the 13th of August today. Big morning ahead on the show. We're going to chat with the boss of the Modbury Jets Amateur Football Club. This poor club. They're flying. Their top team is a chance of going and winning the premiership this year, except they're not going to be able to train at home or play at home for a while because some peanut drove on it and did burnouts in his white Triton ute. It's caused thousands of dollars worth of damage. We'll be chatting with the chairman a little bit later this hour. Phil Curry, federal politics, lots to talk about in that front, certainly following the polls that have come out in the last couple of days. And then big reveal this morning coming up on 5AA Breakfast. The tallying has been done. The accountants have crunched the numbers. We've got a final total that we're going to present to Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre after 8:30 this morning for the Undie Drive. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. Stick around for that. Oh, I must admit, I don't actually know what it is. No one's told me. Maybe there was a meeting yesterday that I couldn't go to on account of having to do another thing.
Anything else?
Anything else. But, yeah, I had to go home in a hurry and rub some lard on the cat's boil. But what about the expression, sitting around watching grass grow? Well, that's what the people at Modbury are going to have to do for a while. What possesses people to go and shred perfectly good lawn, park, oval in their car? You know, like, what is going through people's heads?
Not much.
There's not a woman alive who's ever done such a thing. It's a guy thing.
Yeah, I think that's true, isn't it?
Well, have you ever seen a woman chuck a burnout?
No.
You know, there might be a few women who get along to summer nats in Canberra. That's the sort of burnouts and...
But doing doughies.
Tailspins capital of the country when it's on. But yeah, chucking donuts. What's the point? What is the point? Did you ever do that, Will, when you got your peas? Did you think, right,
no,
watch out, Dilford Island, I'm going to see how fast I can go in Dilford Island?
No, I did not.
Chuck it out the bottom of the driveway?
I've heard of, anecdotally, people doing it, you know, scores to settle with schools. They felt, you know, wrong them and do it on the oval
really?
And so forth. Yeah, I've heard of that kind of thing.
Form of vengeance.
But I don't know what the Modbury Jets soccer club would have done to anyone. This feels like the vision that was on 7 last night. They the guy, you damage your car in the process too because they drove through a fence post to get on there.
Yeah. What? Well, he punctured his tyre, didn't he?
Yeah, he punctured his tyre. Just the whole from go to woe. There's just not a lot of brain power being applied.
The other thing, doing it in a Mitsubishi dual cab Triton as well. Like, yeah, the car that's designed for the tradie on a modest income. It's not exactly 1976 Monaro, is it?
No.
You know, there's no muscle
expressing
car.
the true power of the vehicle.
Oh,
yeah.
just on every level, this guy... someone should just make him this his punishment, if they find the guy, his punishment should be he's got to walk down the mall wearing a T-shirt that says, "I am sadly lacking in the trouser department," because there's no other explanation for it.
There's no other conclusion you can draw, I think.
Yeah,
it's a case of just
nothing going on. Either upstairs
overcompensation
or downstairs. It is extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
But I don't know, like every now and then we've got a back lane near our house.
Mm.
It's an old dunny lane. Like in the 19th century, the old poop cart would have come down through there pre sewage. But and almost everyone who uses the back lane, like putt, 10 kilometres. There's no sign, but I think the assumption is you drive down that back lane like
someone could be coming out.
Yeah, because it's all people backing out of their back lane driveways. I reckon once a day, down
the
I
lane.
just think, you morons, you complete drongos. You know, and they could quite easily smash into a car that's reversing out. Kids ride their bikes down there sometimes. You think, what possesses people?
Just, well, it can only be motivated by complete and utter disregard for everyone else. Just no care whatsoever.
Yeah.
But there's enough of them out there. We cover them every morning. What's the bet we'll get some sort of similar upstanding citizen at 6:40 this morning that we'll get to hear about?
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it?
14 after 6, 8223 0000 is our number. You can text us on the Duttons text line as well, 04808 1395. Lots to talk about in the news wrap after 7 o'clock this morning. We will chat about Vincent Tarsia's first appearance yesterday and this awful story on the Hindley Street bashing that Jade Robin did a bit of work about yesterday. But there was a court appearance that we'll discuss because now there's a bit of meat on the bone on this story. We'll get into that over the course of the first hour too. And as we always invite you to do, anything you introduce into the conversation, we're happy to hear from you. 8223 0000, Dutton's text line, or jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream.
Here at FIVEAA, we're all about supporting local. Give dinner a spin at Roulette's Tavern. Every Wednesday night, choose any pasta for only $19. Roulette's Tavern, next to Pal's, Kings Road, Parafield.
Go full sport with Code Sports. Follow every story and insight on your favourite sports, including NRL, AFL, netball, basketball, and more. Plus, in-depth analysis and features from our expert writers. Visit codesports.com.au.
An espresso arpeggio before the kids get up. Unforgettable.
An espresso Napoli before I head out to site. Unforgettable.
An espresso ristretto before I even think about opening my laptop. Unforgettable.
No matter which Nespresso is your favourite, one thing's for sure, the taste is simply unforgettable. Nespresso. What else?
Meet for a cuppa at Coffeelosophy. Move your body at Hatha Yoga. Invest your wellness at Devar House. Repair your leathers at Ideal Shoe Repairs. Print your family photos at Hutt Street Photos. Stop for an aperitif at Bar Torino. Order lunch at Chianti. Spice up your senses at Ragi's. Grab a classic pub meal at Arab Steed Hotel. Sip your favourite at Hutt Street Cellars. Whatever your reason, Hutt Street is worth the visit. After all, it's your corner of the city. The best corner of the city.
Right Price, Adelaide's best in heating and cooling, has risen to new heights. Literally, Right Price are now your roofing people too. Same exceptional service, value and quality. From total roof replacement, including tiled roof installation, to tile roof repairs, cleaning and painting. And for peace of mind, a rock solid quote. So the only surprise you'll get is how magnificent your roof and home looks. Do it right. Visit rightpriceroofing.com.au.
You can get your roof right at Right Price. It's showtime at Wayville Hyundai. The best time to get your car serviced with free parking, complimentary $25 food and drink coupon, and a free car wash and vacuum. Change the way you Hyundai at Wayville Hyundai, opposite the showground.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
17 minutes after 6, news headlines on this Tuesday morning. The federal opposition believes terrorist sympathisers could be allowed to remain in Australia. 1,300 Palestinians are currently living here on temporary visas after fleeing Gaza, and about 1,000 more are trying to come to Australia right now. The federal government may offer them permanent residency. The coalition's arguing on this issue. People have expressed support for Hamas should not be in Australia.
That seems to be a no-brainer, doesn't it?
Well, it's a declared terrorist organisation, isn't it?
Yeah, by Australia it is.
By our federal government.
Yeah. So I don't see how the federal government can logically set that to one side if they can establish. Because the percentage of Palestinians who do support Hamas is pretty significant.
Pretty high.
And the process, but the sort of quick one-day turnaround manner by which those visas have been handed out, much less onerous than, I don't know, anything a hard-working, tax-paying Scottish electrician might have had to endure.
Unbelievable. Workers' chances of a pay increase are being bolstered by a rise in pay expectations. Employers expect the average wage increase to be 3.8% in the 12 months to July, an increase on the 3% previously predicted. Australian HR Institute Chief Executive Sarah McCann Bartlett says the labour market is still really tight, highlighting the need for employers to reward and retain employees.
Employers are still saying very strongly that they're actually going to grow their staffing levels overall. This is despite the fact that some have said that they are going to make more redundancies.
This is an interesting concept. Australians will soon be able to share personal information from their phones rather than having to physically hand over sensitive documents. A digital ID platform is slated to be launched at the end of the year. Accessed via a person's MyGov wallet, the technology will store passports, driver's licences and birth certificates. There's a piece on this in the Tiser this morning, framed around the idea of, well, when you go to a hotel, they'll say give some ID. You're generally having to hand someone your passport. They disappear in a back room, or they shuffle around, they do whatever, and it's kind of out of sight for a while. So to other ID documents. The idea behind this from the federal government seems to be you get a bit more control.
Yeah, funnily, I have the opposite instinctive response, which is to worry about having such vital personal information on my phone. Like, what if someone stole your phone?
People can't get into your phone.
What, there's no way they can?
No, I think they...
Because of Face ID?
Yeah, the utility of stealing a phone is you wipe the phone and then sell the phone.
So you just get a blank phone?
Yeah.
So you can't actually hack into it and...
I don't think it's...
Well, it's true, actually, because
yeah.
I know, like, you know, not that I'm trying to get into her phone, but with my wife's phone, like, I know the code, but if you didn't know, like, the better example is the computer. Like, the computer will not do anything unless it's your face.
No. And well, there may be a way if you're some advanced level hacker, but I think the general kind of identity theft when you're in a foreign country is some sort of low level, I'll quickly scan your documents while they're out of sight operation. It's not necessarily high tech, high powered, you know, brainiac kind of stuff.
A lot of people will feel like me and go,
absolutely.
I mean, a lot of people won't put their credit card into their phone.
Well, I suppose this is the thing is...
Actually, I haven't got mine in there. I've never saved it. I always type it in.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
The idea is no one's been compelled to use this. This would be, you know, if it makes you feel more safe, go for it.
It's funny, isn't it? Everyone spent back in 1984 complaining about Bob Hawke's plan and bringing an ID card. Now we can have to walk around with it on their phone.
Exactly right. Calls for a blanket ban on gambling advertising are gaining support. The federal government is drafting a plan to limit the amount of ads on television and online to curb the social and economic damage caused by heavy losses. But some Labor backbenchers and coalition MPs are pushing for the restrictions to go further. The Greens are pushing strongly on this as well.
They want a total ban, don't they?
They want a total ban. They want to bring a vote to the Senate very soon, in fact. It's a fascinating issue that feels like it's gaining momentum.
Do you feel like the gambling companies have brought a lot of this on themselves?
Completely.
It's just so over the
top.
Gambling
ably assisted by sport that has been enjoying the windfall of having the gambling industry heavily involved.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think it's a symbiotic relationship.
For sure. And whenever the AFL was getting on its moral high horse about race or climate change or gender equity or whatever it is, and
we got one blind spot.
Not to be cynical about any of those things, except for to lay the cynicism on with a trowel when you see that they've got the AFL official gaming partner.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it will affect viewership of games? Like if
they got rid of it,
yeah,
or if gambling didn't exist.
I know if we'll say hypothetically, say there's no gambling.
I 100%.
You're not watching Freo St Kilda at 4 p.m. on a Sunday, are you?
Yep. I think that's a huge driver of engagement with the sport.
Because I'm not outing you, but you and Tom, and you're nothing silly.
Yeah, well, I
have
have
the
a
odd
punt.
flutter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and often on Mondays, I feel like a spare you-know-what at a wedding, because you guys are sort of, that happened.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
a lot of guys do that.
Yeah, it's huge. I think the advertising component of it is gross.
Yeah.
I find that that's grotesque. The way every ad break here's the updated odds.
But don't you reckon, though, it's almost like the psychology of it now, and, rounding out the half hour talking about men doing burnouts, it's men doing the gambling too, overwhelmingly, for sport.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
Like the gender split would have to be, 90%? But the advertising strategy now, it's subliminally aimed at people like me, because I'm not one of the boys.
Saying you're missing out.
Yeah.
You're not involved.
I'm not betting with mates.
Yeah, you're not involved in
Bet with your mates. And all the guys in the ad, they just look like the guys you want to hang around with. Dazza, you ratbag, you've done it again.
Well, you can
you understand. Australian archetypal male. Dazza, he's a laugh, isn't he?
You can understand how lucrative is the AFL, not just in terms of the dollars that are coming. So not the AFL. They're not the only sport that are involved that have deep entanglements now with gambling companies. But the psychology of it is fascinating, because what it does is it draws people in to games in your sports season that they otherwise wouldn't bother watching. Or if they've got nothing else to do, they might put it on and have a punt to get involved and watch it, have a skin in the game, so to speak.
Yeah.
Historically, what they might do is put on another sport, or put on another show, or do something. If I'm talking, if you're just sitting around idling anyway, but it kind of ropes you into being involved in that product even more. So the
SBS used to put on adult movies.
Adult movies. Can you bet on them?
Well, maybe you could. That'd be good. How many topless scenes are we going to have in this Swedish romp about? Young woman's
Swedish
voyage of self-discovery.
I'll take over 4.5. What's the line? Higher e-scooters are set to be banned from the Melbourne CBD, with the City Council likely to rip up its contract with operators Lime and Neuron. Lord Mayor Nicholas Rees will move a motion at tonight's council meeting to cancel the city's arrangements. We're going the other way, aren't we?
Yeah, we love them, don't we? That's why Harold Scrooge was getting so upset.
How do we like scooters more than Melbourne? Isn't the scooter
Who knows what's going
devised
on in
by a
Melbourne?
hipster?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It feels like a Melbourne thing.
Man with an underbeard.
I would have thought everyone in Melbourne would get us. Maybe the Victorian government's going to give everyone a scooter, so they don't need these companies.
Well, that's probably it. Didn't the Andrews government in Dan's last budget give every child a fishing rod?
I think so.
Actually, no, they did.
Yeah. Well, I think the next logical step is a scooter.
I think it was designed as a regional tourism initiative or something.
A bit of an earthquake in LA in the last hour or two as well. Los Angeles hit by a 4.7 magnitude tremor in the South Pasadena region. Obviously, a part of the world given to that kind of seismic activity.
That's Pasadena, California, not Pasadena down near Foodland. So, if you're about to send your kids off to school at Dawes Road High or anything this morning,
there won't be aftershocks at Pasadena. Adelaide.
I'll tell you what, there's a while back in the Dawes Road High days where that school almost needed a bit of an earthquake to straighten it out.
16.8 degrees right now out in the city. It is warm. Going to be warmer over the course of the day, getting it to 22. Partly cloudy today, 21 tomorrow and sunny. Then the rain comes. Thursday, 24 the top. 7 mils of rain potentially, depending on how much we get Thursday. What we don't get Thursday, we're going to get Friday. 3 to 15 mils on Friday with a cool change that comes through. 17 the top for Friday. Drizzle over the weekend. 17 on Saturday and 19 on Sunday. Tom Renz of the 5AA Breakfast Studio experienced the 2024 new gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Funny you should be talking about the weather. I think there's something in the air, and some days are just a little bit crazier than others. Now, yesterday, of course, we had the change in Liberal leadership, which happened, but from a sporting perspective, it was all going on yesterday. So let me just run you through it, and perhaps in order of some of the funnier and more peculiar things that occurred. So we have the Olympics, the closing ceremony, so that's a big thing. That's happening. Then just as we sort of go off air yesterday, it all starts, going crazy. And we'll start with Scott Ninnis. What is going on there at the Adelaide 36ers? So he's 6 months into a new contract, been re-signed by the club. They get a new general manager who comes in, Matt Weston, and clearly he doesn't rate him and thinks this guy's not the guy. And he's brought in, so Scott Ninnis wanted to bring in his assistant coaches. Nope, you're not having them. Brings in Mike Wells, a head assistant, and he's now going to be the coach. So they basically said to Scott, sorry, you're done. See you later. Big call for, as you know, Adelaide's a parochial town.
And for a guy who's done so much for basketball,
and
he's widely regarded
figure.
as a great bloke.
Yeah.
And led them through a pretty difficult time last season when CJ Bruton was given the flick.
That's right.
8-7, so had a good record.
Given where they'd come from, as well, it was a miraculous record.
Absolutely. So, I think everyone at the club now, bold call. I don't mind that, but, gee, to have the courage of your convictions, you're now on notice. And everyone's watching.
They're not Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, exactly.
Like paying someone's contract out when you're the Adelaide 36ers just because, time for a change in direction, I imagine is a pretty weighty decision to make as well.
It's a big call, isn't it? So that happens. That was big. Then Taylor Walker, he gets ruled out of the showdown, so he's going to miss on Saturday night, which is a big blow for the Crows.
That's disappointing.
Really disappointing. Not to the extent of Rory Sloane's eye injury. It must be said the club's been at pains to point that out.
It's not detached. It's just like a little surface scrape.
Feels like he's not going to play again this year, doesn't it?
Surely not. Why put him in cotton wool?
Okay, let's think this through. Last Sunday was the Crows' last home game for the year. You would think if Taylor Walker was not going to play for another year, that would have been his farewell match.
100%. I think
he's coming back.
Yep, he's coming back.
We're saying Taylor Walker's coming back for a year.
You've got your pen in your hand. Write it down. Taylor Walker will play next season.
Excellent.
Yep. And perhaps my most favourite story, and you guys know I love the golf, but I'm watching this yesterday. So what happened was the first day of a tournament in America totally washed out. So they like to finish it on the Sunday for broadcast reasons, etc. So they play on the Saturday, the Friday and the Saturday. Thursday was washed out. And then on the Sunday, they've gone, you guys are going to have to play 36 holes. You're just going to have to smash out 36. So they were up at Sparrows and played. So it all comes down, and it's fading light. It's probably the equivalent of 10 to 6 our time tonight. It's getting hazy. It's getting dark. And a guy, Aaron Rye, is in the clubhouse, or he's just finished, and he's a shot clear of another guy, Max Grayson, who had a 4-shot lead with a few holes to play. Totally imploded, had a quadruple bogey.
Oh, no.
Grayson is playing with Matt Kuchar, who's an American and didn't endear himself in 2018 when he only paid his caddy $5,000, even though he won $1.3 million at the Mayakoba Classic. So he got outed, the caddy shamed him.
Tight-fisted sod.
Yes. So Matt Kuchar yesterday has hit his tee shot to the left and hit up on the guys that were still on the fairway. Could have hit them. It was, stuff that you see at Monday afternoon at North Adelaide. Then Kuchar, because he's so angry, he's not going to make the top 70. It now whittles down. It's towards the end of the season. Max Grayson, it's good enough for him to finish his round in fading light. So he goes through it, even though he could have won and picked up his ball and said, nah, it's, I'm coming back tomorrow. Kuchar marks his ball and says, I'm not coming back till tomorrow. So he went back yesterday, tied 12th, had no bearing on the tournament. All the officials had to come back for this one bloke.
How many holes do you have to play?
He had half a hole to play. He's been absolutely slaughtered on Twitter and social media. Destroyed. Because...
Is this the guy who wouldn't pay his caddy?
Yeah, Matt Kuchar. He has been pilloried.
He sounds like a total heel, to use a WWF
and
expression.
He has tried to come up with, I was trying to set an example to Grayson and say, don't let people bully you into playing, you shouldn't have to play on. But Grayson finished. I mean, it was he could have made the call. And there was no horn blown for fading light. Anyway, some days the world just goes mad. And I think it was one of those days yesterday.
Yeah, well captured, Reddy. That's great.
Excellent. Good story.
Terrific stories.
Hey, just quickly, any legs to the Jack Lukosius rumour?
There is no doubt that I think he is seeking to come home. It's price tag. I think the interest from Port Adelaide is lukewarm, is my understanding. I think the Crows are much more keen. So price will be a consideration as well.
Yeah, it felt like a a poignant time of the year to be dropped, didn't it?
Didn't it?
Given all the speculation that's
Player
going on.
agents, you reckon? Got that one out there?
No, I don't mean dropped as in a new sense. He was dropped from playing for Gold Coast this weekend.
Yeah.
So,
which was
I think you meant the story being dropped.
No, I think I think Will said, first time in his career, I think.
Yeah,
dropped.
it was interesting given the speculation
Almost
this
feels
week.
like a bit of a statement, doesn't it, from the coach?
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, mate.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 22 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Physio, Pilates, hydro, massage, podiatry and exercise classes. Physio Extra's Holistic Care. PhysioExtra.com.
Illegal vaping devices and more than 100 kilograms of illicit tobacco products with a street value of about $160,000 have been seized in a raid by Task Force Morpheus. Australian Border Force officers and Consumer and Business Services raided 2 businesses in Adelaide's northern suburbs, seizing illicit cigarettes, tobacco pouches, shisha packs, disposable vapes and vape liquid. The joint raids follow on recent raids in which more than $80,000 worth of tobacco and tobacco products were seized. The opposition says the federal government has failed to keep the public safe from potentially dangerous detainees. Documents obtained under freedom of immigration laws show at least 83 non-citizens were released into the community without visas after the High Court ruled indefinite detention is unlawful. Shadow Immigration Minister Dan Tehan says the Prime Minister needs to make sure this doesn't happen again.
He needs to pull his new immigration minister into line and tell him that this is a serious issue and one that he needs to take responsibility for now, and assure the Australian people that he will do everything to keep them safe.
Work is already underway to dismantle some of the Olympic venues in Paris, which won't be used for the upcoming Paralympics. Clinton Maynard reports from the French capital.
Paris 2024 has been the first Games to operate under new IOC guidelines. They want host cities to either utilise existing venues, use temporary ones, or only build new facilities if they're needed by the local population after the Games have finished. The IOC doesn't want cities left with white elephants, and that means while Paris has used Stade de France for athletics and many historic buildings as venues, others have been created in public spaces with huge temporary stands made of scaffolding. As soon as competition ended, workers were already on site of some of those, tearing them down, but their temporary nature means once the Paralympics are over, there'll be few signs the Games were here.
Australians have almost completely drained their bank accounts of any savings built up during the pandemic. Commonwealth Bank analysis suggests a savings buffer has all but evaporated in recent months, used by consumers to finance cost of living demands. Bill Shorten is under fire after treating senior bureaucrats to lunch at one of Canberra's most luxurious hotels. Documents obtained by the opposition suggest the senior government minister spent $40,000 on the one-day leadership forum. Shadow Government Services Minister Paul Fletcher says his colleague needs to get back to basics and stop wasting money.
There's no problem with having planning meetings, but there are plenty of cheaper venues to do it. And you know, the great irony is he gave a speech at this event where he told the bureaucrats there is zero appetite for wasting money. This is while Services Australia is seeing the service levels that it provides to Australians plummeting.
Services Australia says it selected the venue as its best met logistical availability and value for money requirements. Prominent local landmarks will light up in red tonight. It's to celebrate the 110th anniversary of the Australian Red Cross. Since the outbreak of World War I in 1914, the organisation has played a pivotal role in supporting Australians, especially through times of natural disaster. And now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And now here's Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. We're going to start with some football. Adelaide will have to work out who will replace Taylor Walker, with the veteran ruled out of Saturday night's showdown against the Power. The 34-year-old will miss with an eye injury after he copped a knock from Bulldogs ruckman Tim English in Sunday's game. Now, there is still a slight chance Walker will return for the final game of the season against Sydney. One player who will be involved in Saturday night's showdown is defender Josh Worrell. He missed 10 games with a broken arm, but has been very good since returning last week against Geelong, before helping keep Jamara Ugle-Hagan to just 11 touches and 1 goal last week. Worrell telling Timmy G and Treaders the break allowed him to freshen up mentally and physically.
I got to go back to Melbourne, which was a nice, very fresh, and see the family, but besides that, I was pretty keen to get back out there and
I've come back in and really enjoyed my time.
Yeah, he's looking good. Well, the Adelaide 36ers will begin life under new coach Mike Wells today after sensationally deciding to sack coach Scott Ninnis yesterday. Ninnis had only been signed on as coach several months ago, but the club said he wasn't meeting the standards they were seeking. To rugby union now, the Wallabies believe they can close the gap on the Springboks in their second test in Perth on Saturday night. Australia was well beaten 33-7 in the opening game of the Rugby Championship in Brisbane. Veteran forward James Slipper says they didn't do themselves any favours.
We look at the game plan itself, and it was probably not executed well enough by the players going into the game, and I think we created a lot of opportunities where we didn't actually take them.
Hope they can bounce back. That is the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Partly cloudy and 22 today. Tomorrow sunny 21. Thursday showers developing and 24. Friday showers back down to 17 degrees. Currently it is 17 in Adelaide. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
"22 minutes to 7. Police and weather coming up this half hour. Also going to be chatting with the chairman of the Modbury Jets following the I guess you call it vandalisation of their oval, really.
Yeah, for sure you do.
It's someone went and did donuts on it, ripped it up. It's stuffed them for training on it now. It's stuffed them for playing on it as well.
It's a bit like a dog marking its own territory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that level of mentality.
Drongo going,
You see all that shredded grass? That was me.
What do you make of John Setka's new tattoo? We got a Wallace Cinemas family pass to give away. Catch a movie this week at Mitcham, Piccadilly, Mount Barker or Noarlunga. For sessions, visit wallace.com.au. I want you to tell us, if you had to get a tattoo, what would it be of? If you had to get one,
If it was, maybe
you've already made the decision.
Wanted one.
Yeah, maybe you've given this a bit of thought. What would you get? Because John Setka, well, he's got a number of tattoos, but he got a fresh new one that he posted on social media overnight.
He looks like the Sistine Chapel. He's covered in
it. Really does. A body is a piece of art.
Yeah.
This piece component of the artwork says, "God forgives the CFMEU doesn't."
So that slogan is actually
their slogan
on hoodies that they have. Because when the Victorian guys came and took over the SA branch, a whole bunch of them arrived wearing that, and there's a guy called Desmond Tyveringa Savage, Desi Savage, huge bloke, New Zealand background, absolutely built. Apparently a really friendly guy though. Apparently, but there was a picture of him holding up his middle finger to the camera, wearing a "God forgives the CFMEU doesn't" hoodie. That was his Facebook picture. His profile picture.
It's friendly, isn't it?
Yeah, wearing a construction hat, holding up a middle finger.
You got to give him some credit as far as coming up with a menacing slogan goes. I think it's a pretty good one.
For a while, they had a T-shirt, and it was awesome design. It had a recoiling cobra with a Eureka flag behind it, and it said, "If provoked, we will strike."
Yeah, that's not bad either.
CFMEU.
Geez, they got some good creative writer going.
Yeah, well, it's almost like, and what was that? But and I'm not comparing them to the Hells Angels, but culturally, there's that really good book by the American journalist Hunter S. Thompson, the guy who wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, about the Hells Angels, and they call themselves the 1%ers. We're the 1% who don't fit and don't care. And in terms of its demeanour, that is how the CFMU sees itself in the union movement. And the branding has a gang-like quality.
Yeah.
And now it's permanently around John Setka's neck.
So for the Wallace Cinema Pass that we've got to give away, family pass too, so you can take everyone along. If you had to get a tattoo, what would it be? Maybe there are recently inked that have got this. What would you get?
I put the fear of God into my mother because I jokingly told her that not only was I thinking about getting a tattoo back in January on our family trip of a lifetime to Mexico, but some of the kids were thinking about getting one as well.
You could come back, with matching or just an expression of your individuality?
I'd never do it, but if I did do it, I'd get one of those Aztec hieroglyphs. You know those things of like the plumed serpent? It's like a giant lizard head with feathers coming out the side. It's on the side of all the pyramids in like Teotihuacan and that. Quetzalcoatl is what it's called in the Aztec language. But that's heaps of Mexicans have got that one, or they've got the Mexican eagle that's on their flag. It looks cool, and it's like a rectangular stamp, so it's actually quite stylized, like a litho cut. It looks like you've been stamped.
Oh, right.
You know, if you ever buy anything from Mexico, like even if you buy a jar of a bottle of Jarritos, you know, the soft drink,
Yes.
there's always the eagle stamp on the back, which is the emblem of Mexico.
That's what it means.
Yeah. What would you get, Will?
I'd do something sentimental and something family. I think, like a lot of people do. Nothing that would be that creative or a big statement. Like
you wouldn't get a Polish thing.
No. I like some recognition of the Polish heritage. Like the Polish eagle's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Looks painful though. I don't mind like a little kid's birthday date or something like that you see people get from time to time.
In cursive?
Yeah. I'd go to you for the font because you're the font guy.
Yeah, okay.
You know more fonts than anyone alive. It's amazing. You've got an encyclopedic knowledge of fonts.
We had this bet when Belgium, my son about 8 years ago thought Belgium were going to do really well in the World Cup. And I said, no way, Belgium. Belgium? He goes, Dad, I've been watching and reading a lot about it, and I think Belgium are going to do really well. They almost made, I think they came top 4. And we had this bet. I said, if Belgium win, I'll get the word Belgium tattooed on my bum. And then Jim said, no, you will get the word Belgium tattooed on your bum, except it has to be misspelt. So I was going to have to get Belgium tattooed on my bum. He said, if Belgium win, you have to get Belgium spelt Belguim.
Jim's got a good instinct for a dare. I like that.
I would have done it.
Kaz
to honour a bet.
Kaz in Brompton says, this is only in my annoyed days. My tattoo would be, I don't get mad, I just get even. Thank you for that. Good. Thank you for that, Kaz. That could be a new CFMU one. Penny has sent us a picture. It might leave you to describe this. My husband felt like he had to get a Richmond Tiger tattoo back in his Navy days, but it ended up with a mane. Yeah, it's...
Fantastic. Now, Joe from Camden Park's texted in. He's got a picture of Warney tattooed on him.
Warney celebrating post-wicket.
How good's that?
I wonder do we know what wicket that was? Or is it just sort of... Is it the 700th wicket Sam Dano thinks it is?
I think it is, yeah.
The iconic image. Oh, no, we got Joe said, explain, I got this tattoo because I consider this bloke God. 10 years ago by choice, I got the great Shane Warne tattooed on my back. Now joined by my favourite quarterback from the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, formerly of the Packers, now at the Giants. Joe's got a bit of sporting history tattooed on his person.
What about that?
Dave in South Brighton's called in. Morning to you, Dave.
Morning, guys. Now, my body doesn't have a tattoo on it at all, but probably about 20-odd years ago, there was a group of us guys down the pub, and we were talking about getting tattoos, had a few beers, and we said, and one of my mates said he wanted some lips tattooed on his bum, as in kiss my ass. So about half a dozen of us all shot down the tattoo shop. We all thought it was a great idea. Well, the look of horror on the tattoo guy's face when all these half a dozen middle-aged blokes rolled into that he was going to spend the next couple of hours tattooing our bum was the look to behold, and he sent us out the door and said, come back when you've had a think about it, guys. So,
yeah, there needs to be a cooling off period.
I like that story, Dave. In fact, you can get the Wallace Cinemas family pass, Dave, for you, the aborted attempt at you and the mates getting tattoos whilst away.
It's amazing how big it's become, though. You know, I feel like you can almost feel like you're in the minority. You go to the beach these days, and particularly younger people, and women. Like
yes.
it's become, yeah, and some of them are really quite beautiful. I think the ones that are coloured, that sort of light colour that a lot of female tattoo enthusiasts go for.
There's some very talented artists that are that are tattoo artists these days that do quite spectacular looking things.
I reckon one bloke who's got killer tats is Tim Cahill. I love those Samoan sort of style tats that are almost like, they look like weaving.
Yeah.
They're brilliant.
Yeah. They look spectacular.
Yeah. Might get inked up.
Well, there you go. Well, at least you know what you're going to get. 14 to 7. Let's check traffic, police and weather coming up in just a moment. Thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Roads are looking A-OK for the run into work today, which is excellent. Accident breakdown free, so no great hassles. Few works to look out for. You'll find them with South Brighton Road near Broadway. Bits like Mitchell Park, Dawes Road near Carramar Avenue, and got some works at Wingfield to look out for this morning. Green Junction Road near Dunstan Road. Early morning cameras, Everard Avenue, Keswick, and Fisher Streets at Malvern. Goodyear Auto Care have the Goodyear OptiLife 3 Series at a great price, designed for passenger and SUV vehicles. They're for a quiet and comfortable ride. Visit your local Goodyear Auto Care today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Mate, it was so easy. Drop the car into Automasters. Next thing, I get a video on my phone.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
The service advisor is there live doing a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
He shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. The future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 Automasters.
If you're packing up your family to travel across the land will treat you different in a Dave Benson caravan. There's never any roadworks when you're driving Aussie made, and you'll always find a park that's nestled safely in the shade. The magpies will stop swooping, the kangaroos give way. You won't see a single mosquito at the end of each perfect day. And if the coppers pull you over, they won't wreck your plans when you tell them you bought Aussie made from Dave Benson Caravans.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
The critical part of any healthcare is the care. It's about being by your side when you and your loved ones need us most. Through late night fevers, through the rough and tumble of weekend sports, through weird rashes, mystery aches, and knowing in your heart that something's not quite right. From surgery to rehabilitation, through emergencies, mental illness, chronic diseases, and for better health. Your doctor cares. Let's take care of them too. Authorised by Dr. David Pope, Sasmoa, Adelaide.
Join Gliderol in celebrating the Colorbond Steal the Show promotion. By purchasing a roller door or sectional door made from Colorbond steel from Gliderol, now or within the last 12 months, you could win $100,000. Visit gliderol.com.au today for a free measure and quote. Retail customers only. T's and C's apply. See colorbond.com/steal the show. 18 plus only. Strict purchase and eligibility criteria apply. Ends 30/11/24.
I booked the car into Automasters. Next thing, there's a video on my phone.
Shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. New from Automasters.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
11 to 7. Terry's given us a chuckle on the Duttons text line.
Excellent work, our good mate Lefty Terry from Henley Beach. He says Pendo's tat should be DP Hart JH, which I'm pretty sure is a reference not to KE, former member for Adelaide.
No, different member for Bennelong.
Former member for Bennelong. Till that tragic day when he lost his seat in 2007.
Keep those texts coming in. Dutton's a third generation family-owned dealership with over 7 years' experience. Dutton's easy to do business with. Anne's husband has a practical idea for a tattoo. He said, my husband's a keen fisherman. He always wanted to tattoo 2 lines on his arm exactly the length of a legal whiting apart. I think that's excellent.
Better than having one of those Sardi rulers or those stickers.
Yeah, that's right.
On your tackle box. That's a great idea.
All right, let's head to the Weather Bureau. Jenny Horvat on duty this morning. Another warm morning, Jenny.
Yeah, that's right. It was pretty warm overnight, and the minimum temperature actually happened just after 9 p.m. last night. That was 16.6, and it's currently 17.1 at the West Terrace Night Pier observation site. We are aiming for a top temperature of 22 here in the city, 23 for Elizabeth, 21 for Glenelg, 24 Noarlunga, Mount Barker also aiming for 22 degrees. Still got that high pressure system in the Tasman, maintaining that warmer northerly airstream. There is a bit of a weakening trough moving across from the west, so we are expecting to see that cloud increase increasing during the day. Not expecting too much shower activity around today, but a little bit possible as we head into the later part of this afternoon and evening. Things drying up relatively quickly as we roll into Wednesday, so a little bit of shower activity overnight, not out of the question, but we are in for a sunny day. Again, minimum temperatures up around 12 degrees, maximum of 21 on Wednesday, maybe a little bit of shower activity returning late Wednesday into Thursday, but again, Thursday, most of the day probably looking dry at this stage. We've got this low pressure system coming through, or maybe a band of rain. The timing of that's looking maybe overnight Thursday into Friday at this stage, but a bit of a watch this space. Ahead of that, maybe that temperature getting up to around 24 degrees on Thursday. Temperatures back down to around 17 degrees for Friday and Saturday as that cooler change would have moved through, and maybe some showers around on the Friday and still maybe a little bit around on the weekend there, guys, but promising for a little bit more rainfall later in the week.
Good stuff, Jenny. Thanks for that.
Let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Scott James on the line. Scott, 2 men have been arrested after breaking into cars at Wayville this morning.
Yeah, so this was just after 5 a.m. this morning. Patrols were called to Rose Terrace at Wayville after witnesses reported that 2 men were rummaging through his parked car. Patrols were quickly on scene, but the suspects were nowhere to be seen when we arrived. The suspects had left as seen by witnesses. Patrols called in the police dog Axe to assist with the search of the area to locate the suspects. One of the suspects was located on Greenhill Road and the second on Goodwood. They were both arrested. So a 51-year-old man from Dovern Park and a 43-year-old man from Ovingham will attend court for illegal interference and of a motor vehicle.
Good work, SAPOL. Get him out of Wayville. Well done. Scott, also, yet again, geez, after yesterday with that woman in Cleveland was offered chops, now we've got another high-range drink driver caught, this time at Myrtlebank.
Yeah, so this was in 24 hours of that one at Myrtlebank, in the Adelaide Hills with the driver of 333. So this one was just after 9 a.m. yesterday morning. We received a report of a white Kia sedan travelling erratically on Glen Osmond Road at Myrtlebank. Patrols were able to track down the vehicle shortly after on the southeastern freeway and stop the driver and submitted her to a breath test with a positive result of 0.222, which is almost 4 times the legal limit. The driver was reported for drink driving and issued a 12-month loss of licence and should be summoned to attend court at a later date.
Good stuff there. Senior Constable Scott James from SAPOL.
We started the program this morning talking about the plight of the Modbury Jets Amateur Football Club, who on the field are having a great season. Unfortunately, the problem they're facing is to the field. Their home their home deck was vandalised by an idiot white Mitsubishi Triton. If anyone saw him, dob him into the police. Went and did donuts on the field. Means now they can't train on it. It's posing all sorts of issues. Darren Cross is the chairman of the Jets. Morning to you, Darren.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, we're good, thanks, Darren. Pity we've got to talk to you under such annoying circumstances. This is a real pain. And the Oval, you hadn't been able to use it for a year because it was all being reseeded and redone last year, wasn't it?
That's correct, yeah. The council spent $250,000 upgrading irrigation and drainage, and as a result, we were impacted then. We've worked tirelessly with the council to get the surface back up to a playing standard this year, and then within 20 minutes, we have that, as you said, an idiot has come on there and destroyed it. So
just hard to fathom what's going through their thick heads, isn't it?
Well, it is. You know, you just wonder what prompts them to do something like that. You know, we know it's an open oval. It's used by the local community, not just us. We provide a facility for everybody within the TG Gully Council area, and one mad idiot there has just come in and destroyed that for everybody. So
yeah,
we're not alone.
How confident are you that you can get it turned around and patched up soon, Darren?
Yeah, well, I spoke to the council yesterday. They're pretty confident that within a week to 10 days they'll roll it and cut it and repair it in certain areas. So by the time our next home game is on the 24th of August, we should be up and running. And but at a cost to the council, and that's what everybody sees is the impact not on the club but the council.
Yeah.
And
ratepayers.
So ratepayers. That's right.
So is there any word from the council, Darren? Have you heard they're going to put? I know there was some bollards there that they drove through, but they're going to put in something a bit more secure in future. Do you think?
Yes. Well, that's the plan going forward. Is that there is a metal fence partly around the oval. So I think the discussions are now to increase that right around, so it does prevent that from happening again.
So where are you guys going to have to train in the meantime?
Well, tonight we've cancelled training on the oval, so we've booked a couple of indoor places and for the first team. And on the weekend, on Thursday, then we'll see where we're at with the council. But we have been reached out by the local clubs within our area, Tea Tree Gully and Modbury Soccer Club and Modbury Vista. They're all up there. They're aware of our plight and they've offered their facilities for us. So we'll see where we're at come Thursday. And if we need to tap into that, we will. We have a good relationship with the other sporting clubs in the area. So.
And Darren, that's good to hear, mate. Well, good to see how the community always pulls together in situations like this. But just in terms of the driver, have you heard any whispers about whether anyone got his number plate or anything like that?
No, as you see with most crime, the perpetrators leave just prior to police arrival, and that was the case here. One of the local residents did take a photograph of the white Mitsubishi Triton taking off at Ladywood Road towards Modbury Heights. And I know the police are making ongoing inquiries with local residents to see if they do have CCTV or businesses that are around. And we just anybody with dash cam footage that were in that area around 7:30, between 7:30 and 8 p.m. Sunday night, just have a look. And if you do happen to see a white Mitsubishi Triton driving on three wheels, apparently blew a tyre, then just contact the police and hopefully we can catch this perpetrator and bring him to justice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Well, Darren, good luck with it all, and good to hear that the community's banding together. As we say, though, it's
well done to the council there too.
Yeah, the council sound like they've been doing a good job. They did a good job getting the oval up and running, but they're going to have to fix it up now. Darren Cross, the chairman of the Modbury Jets Amateur Football Club.
Andy on the Duttons text line has suggested that maybe they need a fence, knowing the recent and checkered history of fences for NPL clubs in South Australia. I think Andy's being funny.
Yeah, well, I was wondering if the people at Unley were listening to that as well.
Yeah, that's right.
They got 1,500 responses to their community survey about...
What proportion were?
I don't know the proportion yet. I think would probably be more anti than pro. Because, this has become, well, sort of a threat to existence itself for people in Unley. Prospect that you might have a modest and attractive fence erected at an oval that is already 2/3 fenced anyway. But I've
got to say, it's beautiful. I was there. I hadn't been into Unley since the redevelopment took place. I went there last week and wandered around when people were walking their dogs there in the middle of the day, and it's beautiful. It's really well done.
Yeah, the people who walk their dogs there think that the oval actually belongs to them. That's the thing.
They have that vibe to them, but it doesn't seem like there's no...
That's not true of all of them.
There's there's no access that's going to be cut off, is there?
People of Unley Park against permanent fencing.
There's no reduction in access, is there?
None. At all.
Yeah, which is the the key thing.
Ever.
Minute to 7, 5AA News coming up. We'll have a wrap of the morning stories next.
Mario Mayola Promotions and 5AA present Hooked on Swing, starring vocal sensation Kate Black, the Three Little Sisters, and crooner Chris Lloyds, together with the Boogie Woogie Big Band and Swing Dancers. Come hear the music of Benny Goodman, Cab Calloway, Billie Holiday, the Andrews Sisters, Glenn Miller, Nina Simone, and more. Hooked on Swing, Festival Theatre, Wednesday, October 2nd. Book now at Ticketek.
Ever had the feeling you're being watched online? Scammers are always looking for new ways to con you. They're criminals and they're clever. But Australian banks have joined forces in the war against them. Intelligence sharing between banks will identify new types of scams faster. A new payment system to ensure you pay the right person is being rolled out. Unique identity checks will defend against identity theft. And there'll be more double checks when you're paying someone new. Australian banks are working to protect you.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Up to the minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 22 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Physio Extra for Locomat robotic technology treating stroke, cerebral palsy, brain and spinal cord injuries. Visit physioextra.com.
The federal government is being accused of potentially misleading the public over dozens of detainees released in the wake of a High Court decision. Documents obtained by the Australian show at least 83 potentially dangerous non-citizens were freed without visas. That's despite then Immigration Minister Andrew Giles telling Parliament all were released under strict conditions. Shadow Immigration Minister Dan Tehan says the Prime Minister needs to hold Mr Giles to account.
He has to say to Andrew Giles, you no longer deserve to be a minister because you did not do your number one duty and keep the Australian community safe. In fact, you misled the Australian people and did exactly the opposite.
Los Angeles has been shaken by an earthquake. The 4.4 magnitude tremor struck in the South Pasadena region. This is how it was handled on CNN.
And it was so much fun to see, particularly the crowd sort of getting behind as we have a bit of an earthquake here in Los Angeles. So we're just going to make sure that our studio lights, everything stays safe, everything's shaking. You good, Mylan? Everybody good? All right, thank you so much for bearing with us through that. Our studio was shaking just a little bit. Tarsi, if you're still good in the studio and everyone's still good. All right, so this is what I want to show you now. Rebecca,
Hire scooters are set to be banned from the Melbourne CBD. The council is taking action following a surge in complaints and will cancel contracts with e-scooter providers Lime and Neuron. Here in Adelaide, Hire e-scooters have been in operation since 2019 and legislation is being introduced to allow private e-scooters on public roads. Researchers warn hidden sugar in baby food could contribute to obesity later in life. The George Institute for Global Health has looked at 300 packaged foods marketed to infants and toddlers. 80% fail to meet World Health Organization standards. There are none meeting marketing and promotional guidelines. Research fellow and dietitian Dr. Daisy Coyle says more than half fail to meet set sugar recommendations.
What we don't need is young Australians developing a sweet tooth from the age of 1, and we know that diets high in sugar, even at this long age, can set kids up for some long-term unhealthy behaviours and health conditions.
The hard work and dedication of Red Cross volunteers is being celebrated as it marks 110 years. Iconic landmarks across Australia will be lit up red tonight. New South Wales Director Kate Miranda says Australian Red Cross has been deeply woven into the fabric of the nation since World War I.
We've played a vital role in the lives of millions, from the contributions of Red Cross lifeblood to our broader humanitarian efforts. We've been there through every major natural disaster to support people and communities right across the country.
Here in Adelaide, the Riverbank Precinct pedestrian bridge and Adelaide Oval will light up red tonight.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. Port Adelaide's players will train early this afternoon after having the day off yesterday. Power assistant coach Josh Carr will address the media following the session. Meantime, a blow for the Crows with Taylor Walker ruled out of the match with an eye injury. Well, Glasgow is set to host the 2026 Commonwealth Games. The Games Victoria couldn't stage in a deal which could see the Scottish city turn a profit, with Victorians paying for part of it. Jordan Tunbridge reports.
Commonwealth Games Scotland chairman Ian Reid says he's hopeful Glasgow will be confirmed as host within days. The scaled-back event will likely cost around $300 million, not the $7 billion price tag that then Andrews' government projected. And to add insult to injury, the bulk of the costs will be picked up by Victorians. The Games Federation handing Scotland about $200 million of the termination fee charged for breaking the contract to host the event. The remaining $100 million will be covered by ticket sales, sponsorship and broadcast revenue, which could see Glasgow turn a profit. Around 10 sports would be offered during an 11-day competition in July or August 2026.
Well, golfer Matt Kuchar has returned to play the final 3 shots of his final round from the Wyndham Championship. The American decided not to finish in dark conditions yesterday. That's despite being out of contention and the tournament already being won. He eventually finished equal 12th, 7 shots off the pace and made par on the final hole. And in some soccer to finish, Manchester City striker Julian Alvarez has been sold to Spanish giants Atletico Madrid in a deal worth more than £80 million. Meantime, Brentford has signed winner Carvalho from Liverpool. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
Morning there. Roads are looking okay for the running in on a Tuesday, which is great. Accident breakdown free, no hassles getting to work. Do have works at Blair to look out for. Russell Street near Sheoak Road. Also at Ascot Park, Dawes Road near Joy Street, and slow at Wingfield at the moment too for works on the Salisbury Highway near the Wingfield ramp. You'll find early morning cameras today, Goodwood Road, Kirtleite Gardens and Mortimer Streets at Karata Park. People will buy whatever tyre name they remember, like my car, Avandra. Avandra, Avandra, Avandra. My car, people first, Avandra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Partly cloudy and 22 today. Tomorrow sunny 21. Thursday showers developing and 24. Friday showers back to 17. Currently at 17 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Nearly 1 million Australians get a pathology test every week. Almost all these tests, like blood tests, are free because they're bulk billed. 70% of all medical decisions rely on pathology tests. Doctors depend on them to diagnose illness, disease and infection. But these services are under threat. So to keep pathology accessible for all Australians, we need funding to keep pathology bulk billed. We need our voice to be heard. Visit keeppathologybulkbill.com.au. Authorised by LWET, Australian Pathology Canberra.
Hi, Brady Bitt here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda, and it seems you like them too. The free rego and stamp duty offer was so huge, it's back. That's 12 months of rego and stamp duty. Plus, they'll also chuck in $500 worth of accessories. They tell me the red ones are going fast. Mawson Lakes Mazda. Free rego and stamp duty and $500 worth of extras on all new Mazdas until August 31st. Mawson Lakes Mazda. Just a short drive from the city.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Right on 8 minutes after 7. Good morning to you if you're joining us for the first time on this Tuesday, the 13th of August. Significant day for us this morning because after 8:30 we're going to reveal the final Undy Drive tally. That's coming up after 8:30. The final tally for the 5AA Undy Drive will be revealed. Huge donations we got. AHA was involved. McGain, our major sponsor. You, our listeners, came to the party big time as well. We will reveal all after 8:30 today and officially hand over that money to Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre. The jury is coming up this hour. We're going to put Vincent Tarsier to the jury test. Vincent Tarsier is going to be the subject of our jury question very, very shortly. And Phil Coorey in the nation's capital on federal politics.
Says he's going to win the next election. 2 years from now.
That may well be the statement we're putting to the test.
Not even. Oh, sorry, I didn't want
to
steal our own thunder.
Gives our jury a bit of time to think about it.
But let us know, folks, because we are always guided by you. Love hearing your input. This would be one of particular interest for listeners in Adelaide's northeast. If you're out there, Paynham Road, Campbelltown way, great part of Adelaide. Anything that's a short stroll to Mercato to buy a slice of their spinach, salami and chili pizza. Have you had that pizza?
No, I don't think I have. Sounds like I'm missing out.
Is something else.
All right, let's start with a story that Sean Fuster's written about extensively and well this morning. I want to read a little bit of his reporting around the Hindley Street bashing victim that Jade was out collecting people's thoughts about yesterday regarding the bigger picture question of, well, how do you safety feel in the city? In court yesterday, we learned a little bit more about this case. The victim remains on life support. The view from the medical professionals attending to him is that he will suffer lifelong consequences as a result of this attack.
He might still die.
He may still die. I mean, he's on life support.
They tried to take him off and it didn't work.
He clashed twice previously with the person who's charged with belting him, Craig Sansbury Wheatra. They were he was in the magistrate's court yesterday. The victim, Jordan Leon Dodd, the courts refer to as an extremely serious offence. He suffered a broken temple, crushed ribs, and a bleed on the brain. According to witnesses, it was the second altercation involving the men, following a big fight between the pair and their groups a half hour earlier. Those witnesses further alleged the incident started over a young woman, apparently belted him, and then, according to the allegations, started jumping up and down on his chest. Have a listen to some of the victim's friends outside the Royal Adelaide, as heard on 7 News last night.
20 years too young to be dealing with this. He's got so much life ahead of him, and for one coward act, it's all been put on hold. Still going at him after he'd already put him down, it's the lowest form you could be. Yeah, it's just beyond words. I have no words to describe it. He was honestly just protecting his partner from her getting hurt, and now he's wound up beyond hurt. It's unfair. It's beyond unfair.
You got to give Mr. Sainsbury Wheatra full marks for audacity, arguing through his defence lawyer that he deserved bail on the basis that this was the first time he'd ever done something like this. For something like this, Reid bashed someone almost to death, possibly to death, depending on how this plays out at the RA. What
we know from Sean is he doesn't waste words in his story, and I thought it was interesting that he saw fit to include a line from the police prosecutors, who said he needed to be he needed to not be released on bail because the community needed to be protected from him, the man accused of this. They're clearly going to paint a pretty extraordinary picture of this character in inverted commas.
Just horrible. Horrible for Jordan Dodd, horrible for everybody who saw it. It's just appalling.
Big news yesterday, no surprise, as we predicted on our program hours before, but Vincent Tarzia has been installed as the leader of the Liberal Party, winning the leadership ballot by a vote of 18-4 over Josh Teague, necessitated by David Speers stepping down last week. He spoke yesterday after the win, and here's a little bit of what Vincent Tarzia, the new Liberal leader, had to say.
The Liberal Party will win the state election in 2026. No, I absolutely did not undermine David, and I consider David a friend, and I want to work with David. In the Liberal Party, we need David Speers.
Haven't heard from David Speers yet. I'll be interested to see what his next move is. But there's a new leader now. He said he's going to target the government on ramping, cost of living, the housing crisis and the state's debt bomb, and signalled he's going to be ruthless in reshuffling his front bench.
The Libs are currently either in Port Pirie or heading to Port Pirie for a 2-day retreat. Good timing, I guess, with a new leader. He can sort of cast his sort of vision forward to them and rev them up over the next 48 hours. From what Paul Starrick has written today, and he's more plugged in than anyone, Staz, it sounds like David Speers is not at the Love-In. No love lost, perhaps, at the Love-In. And he's also flying out to Scotland on Friday to the wedding that he said didn't exist, but does. So, I don't know. Based on what he said to Stacey last week, they were fighting words. Basically, decoded, he said if not that he named him, but he clearly thinks Vincent Tarzia is one of the treacherous figures who
if he's not going to love his
leadership.
He's not exactly it's not a ringing endorsement of the change of leadership, is it?
No. But maybe he's cooled his jets a bit and thought, well, I'll just shuffle off quietly into the night and stay there as a dutiful backbencher in the Liberal Party.
There's clearly some aggrieved people there, at least, three at least. One of them, Josh Teague, would have voted for himself. I just can't believe they couldn't have organised an uncontested ballot if you're going to get that close.
Yeah. It was weird because yesterday when we were talking about them breaking it up, we did say that Josh Teague was the only X factor because at that time we were being told by people that the hope was that it would be an uncontested ballot.
They got pretty close. Usually at that point you just go, all right, for the good of this.
Don't you think that's the worry, given their history?
Completely.
That there's 4 people sitting there who clearly have demonstrated that they don't think Vincent Tarzia was the right man for the job, and that some of them might start becoming the same irritants that Mr. Speers says that he had, where you don't have... It's amazing how such a small group of people can end up splitting into warring groups, isn't it?
Yeah, that's 100% the risk.
And isn't there a history of that here?
Yeah, there most certainly is. It's a huge task. Like Vincent Tarsi coming up with a bold prediction for the future, though. We're going to put that to the jury test after 7:30 today. I like this out of the US, and I reckon there's something in this that Australians would like to see, maybe ensconced in Australian law. This has just come out this morning. The US President is launching Time is Money, a new government effort to crack down on all the ways that corporations, through excessive paperwork, hold times, and general aggravation. This is literally this is verbatim what this inquiry set out to do. Add unnecessary headaches and hassles to people's days and degrade their quality of life. So this has just been announced, this inquiry. They're going to try and legislate some things like making it easier to cancel subscriptions and memberships. So the text says the Federal Trade Commission has proposed a rule that, if finalised as proposed, would require companies to make it as easy to cancel a subscription or service as it was to sign up for one. Hallelujah. I think that'd be terrific. But this is the one I reckon will resonate with our audience. Among others, these are just a couple I picked out, though, because I think these are the sort of modern annoyances that exist. The Consumer and Financial Protection Bureau will initiate a rule-making process that will require companies under its jurisdiction, so banks and so forth in the US, to let customers talk to a human by pressing a single button. The FCC will launch an inquiry into considering a similar requirement for phone, broadband and cable companies. The idea being, when you get the press 1 for accounts, press 2 for general inquiries.
Thank you for calling the Springfield Police Department.
They call it the doom loop in the US, where you do that a number of times and you're back at the start and you don't ever get anywhere close to where you want to be.
The crime you have selected is regicide. Okay, this is all well and good. Isn't there a bit of physician heal thyself about this, though? The idea that government is telling the private sector that it needs to make life more less onerous and stressful and more workable. I just got my fourth menacing email in a row from the Australian Bureau of Statistics politely telling me that if I don't fill out the friggin' population survey...
Oh, you're going directly to jail, my friend.
By midnight, I am.
Yeah.
I am.
You'll be doing this show from a cell.
Redoing the same stupid questions I did last month.
Without a doubt.
All for the government.
Without a doubt.
What about if you're trying to solve an issue with the ATO? Can you get a person on the line there?
Well, under this US law in the United States, that would be what you'd have now you might have to wait forever.
So it applies to government as well as the private sector.
I believe that's how it would have to work. I like the concept though that there's just no optionality for people engaging with business these days, because clearly there's no financial imperative to do it.
Because they've all gone the same way.
Because they've all gone the same way. Yeah. That's why government steps in a free market economy when there's been a sort of market failure to allow people who don't like interacting with technology the opportunity to say, you know what, here's the human button on your phone. Press 0 at any time during this call and it'll go to... Now, you might have to wait forever, but I reckon there'll be a lot of people that say, I'd rather wait than have to go through the rigmarole of talking to an AI or punching it in via an app or so forth. I think there's merit in this kind of proposal. Wonder what our listeners think. 8223 text us on the Duttons text line 0480 08 1395.
When I had that bingle the other day, not that I was even in the car at the time, some cretin with a trailer sideswiped me and smashed my tail light. I got on the Amy website over the weekend, filled out the entire thing, and then at the end it said, online insurance claims cannot be processed.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay, I've done the full 500 words or less description. I was having my hair cut, and when I left, I noticed that the tail light was lying on the ground and shattered. And so I thought maybe it timed out or something. So I did it again, and it said
doesn't allow
cannot be processed.
Well, I think there's merit in the
and in the end, I did it with a person.
Well,
and they were supremely helpful.
The cancelling of subscriptions, I bet our listeners have got stories about that as well. It's so easy to click 2 buttons and punch in your credit card and buy anything online. You ever try to cancel anything?
Yeah.
Send an email, call during office hours.
It's like getting chewing gum out of your hair.
Exactly right. I think that's a good one too. 20 minutes after 7, I'm going to check traffic. We'll come back with more in just a moment. Thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. Roads looking okay for the run into work today, which is fantastic. A little bit busy at the moment. South Road at Tonsley, starting to build Main North Road at Enfield, and also got some works at Blair to look out for. Russell Street near Sheoak Road, and we're slow at the moment too at Wingfield, Green Junction Road near Dunstan Road. Early morning cameras, Raglan Avenue, Edwards Bankstown and the Southern Expressway at O'Halloran Hill. Power up Android and Telstra. Supercharge your creativity with Google AI on Android with Australia's best mobile network. Search Telstra Android deals. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Just yesterday, I was at a function. At the end, a lady has come up to me because I just happened to be near her and said, "Could you call me a cab? Because I had a booking for an hour ago." So I said, "Can I call you an Uber?" And she said, "I don't have an account. How do I pay?" I said, "Don't worry."
Matthew Pantelis.
It came and picked her up and I picked up the bill, $8. Okay, that's fine. 2 minutes. The Uber was there.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early. Or late. Either way, the Olympic Industry sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough, or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industry sale. On now.
The biggest threat to your business isn't your competition. It's cybercrime. Cybercrime threats impacting Australian businesses large and small continues to grow year on year. One call to one solution will put your business in a safe place and save you from the devastating consequences of cybercrime. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Stay safe and protected. Get in touch with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
If you're aged between 45 and 49, this news could save your life. You can now opt in to the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program and get a free test kit, which up until now, only eligible Australians 50 to 74 could get.
That's right, they've lowered the age and it's so easy to do. Bowel cancer is Australia's second deadliest cancer, but over 90% of cases are treatable if diagnosed early. So the best solution is to start screening earlier. Opt into the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program, now available to people aged between 45 and 49.
Search Australian Government Free Bowel Kit and order yours today. Brought to you by the Jodie Lee Bowel Cancer Foundation and the Government of South Australia.
The Honda mid-size SUV stock clearance is on now. Get 8 years warranty and 8 years roadside assist, plus a $1,000 Ampol fuel card on 2023 build Honda ZR-V and CR-Vs. Visit us at Formula Honda to test drive today. Ampol fuel card offer valid until September 30. Different warranty applies for vehicles used for commercial purposes. T's and C's at honda.com.au. Hurry into Formula Honda. Find us at Glen Osmond Road, Glen Osmond, or North East Road, Modbury.
Join the great cover-up and get a Walco Guardian pool cover. Made right here in SA, a Walco Guardian pool cover will preserve your chemicals, keep your water clean, and you won't need to run your pump. Put your pool to bed for winter. Visit walco.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 after 7, Phil Curry and the jury coming up in the next half hour of the program. Last night in the sports show, in the build-up to the showdown this weekend, Timmy G and Treaders got talking about that grab of Darcy Fogarty, talking about the Crows playing spoiler for Port Season this weekend. Have a listen.
Yeah, I'd be the cherry on the top, I reckon. It'd be huge, and that's something we're going to try and do. They're obviously playing really good football, and yeah, we're going to try and lead in this week to next week and play the exact same way. So, yeah, to cost them their year would be unbelievable.
He's taken the bait from the journos, and the journos have asked what it would be like to beat Port Adelaide. It would be the cherry on top to cost them their year. This would be unbelievable. I love his honesty. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
remember the Ryan Burton, we don't like the Crows, we hate them, rah-rah, and people, oh, you can't say that. Yeah, we can say that. But if I'm coaching, I know what Mark Williams would have done back in the day.
You'd be using it.
He would have stuck that up on the whiteboard and said, guess what these guys think they're going to do?
Well, it's going to be a week of it. Don't worry about that.
Build
it's
it
a
up.
showdown, isn't it?
See, Port aren't playing themselves on Saturday. Port aren't playing the Crows, on Saturday. They're playing themselves. It's become a sort of psychological problem for Port beating Adelaide. And principally, I'm directing that at the coach, at Ken Hinkley. When he did his, what was the hand thing?
0-5.
Yeah, when he did that, it showed that it got to him, I reckon. Like, I think Port worry about it more, particularly given the season. They're having such a good season. It feels like Port worry about it more than Adelaide do. And because Jordan Dawson yesterday was really, so look, I'm not getting roped into this trash talking, weigh-in nonsense. We just want to win the game. Dawson, I thought, was really good, but I reckon whatever the Fog said then is whatever. But it feels like just the way it's been going lately. It feels like it's more on Port to lose rather than the Crows.
Well, yeah, and I think the danger of a showdown is so often late in the season when you play, you're a team battling for top 4, top 8. Your season and your life that year's on the line. You're playing sides with nothing to play for that are in that we're trying things and playing the kids mode. Ostensibly, that's where the Crows are.
Yeah.
But in their minds, in the minds of players, there's a huge rivalry that'd be fun to win this week. So suddenly you've got this team that otherwise has had little motivation that are going to be up and about and motivated to play this game, and that makes it incredibly dangerous, I think, because
for Port,
yeah. I think Port are vastly more talented.
Well, you look at the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have been one of the form sides of the comp in the last 6 weeks, and on Sunday the Crows were just. It was one of those rare games where, as a supporter, as someone who wasn't impartial, you're watching it, but you didn't feel stressed at any stage.
That was nothing on it.
Yeah, like it was a relaxing game to watch.
Yeah.
So if the Crows are in that mood on Saturday, then watch out, Port.
And I think there's strategic issues as well. There's clearly matchup problems that for whatever reason, despite the sum total of talent on both sides, Port has issues with the way the Crows play and some of the personnel. It's just a bad matchup for them. So you don't want to place too much stake in a. You're not going to be playing the Crows in the finals. The value of this entirely to Port isn't about the showdown ledger. It's about finishing top 2.
I tell you what, whatever it was, 2 points against Melbourne. How much is riding on it? You look at the ladder at the moment.
It's outrageous.
Like if Port didn't win that, if they had 3 points the other way, they might not make the 8. The way the table is configured at the moment. You'd think they're almost a lock for top 4 now, though.
Should be, but this season, who would know? It's been one of the most even seasons I can ever remember. You can throw all your ladder predictions out the window. It's been extraordinary. And this weekend, the showdown suddenly is going to be playing a big role in that. It's 2.5 minutes to 7:30. Still to come this morning, our big announcement after 8:30 of the Undy Drive total. We're going to be chatting with Chris Burns, the CEO of Hutt Street Centre, and J. Lee Cooper from Catherine House, and we'll reveal how much has been raised. Do you want to do a couple of Dutton's texts before we get to the break?
Sue from Henley says, Dave, regarding ABS surveys, I arced up at them because they wanted me to do a survey for 2 years where every survey result was going to be 0. I said, I'm not doing it. Then they threatened me with jail and said I was breaking the law, and I said, what law? They then sent me by registered mail 84 pages of the legislation. What about that? And talking about non-answered phone calls, one here saying, I like it when you call Medicare to have a issue resolved, and they say, sorry, we're too busy to take your call. And then they hang up. And Guy says, I'm taking full credit for the American law change. Clearly they heard my sound off about please choose the option that best fits your inquiry.
I think so. Moving and shaking.
Famous sound off.
Guy there. Thank you, Guy. Changing American law and Australian hearts. Dutton's, a third-generation family-owned dealership with over 70 years' experience. Dutton's, they're easy to do business with, and they provide us the text line for your thoughts on 0480 1395.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future, to build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Breaking news from Yes, your energy saving solutions. Thanks to mid-year updates to the SA Government's REPS initiative, you can qualify for a new air conditioner at our lowest price ever. Yes now offers eligible concession households a fully installed 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system from only $299. Enjoy comfort all year round and join over 60,000 Adelaide homes that have said yes to lowering their energy bills. For terms and conditions on this limited offer from your energy saving solutions, visit yess.net.au.
You don't just do a good barbie, you're the tong master. You're not just flipping snags, you've earned the title of Backyard Hospitality Director. So you deserve the very best outdoor kitchen from Adelaide Outdoor Kitchens.
Now, these things are great. Choose from the best appliances, add a bar fridge or a pizza oven, or stun your guests with one of the custom-made concrete bench tops. They also do indoor concrete bench tops. These handmade bench tops can really update any kitchen space. Custom-made for you. Every piece is unique, especially for you.
Call for a consultation and quote today or visit the Seaford Meadows showroom on Farrow Circuit. The best backyard hospitality directors choose Adelaide Outdoor Kitchens. Go to adelaideoutdoorkitchens.com.au.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 22 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Physio, Pilates, hydro, massage, podiatry and exercise classes. Physio Extra's Holistic Care. PhysioExtra.com.
Questions remain about the circumstances which led to a fatal helicopter crash into a hotel in far north Queensland. Peter Fegan says removing the wreckage of the helicopter was a complex task.
It took several hours, but the helicopter was safely lowered off the roof and loaded onto the back of a truck. It's now been taken away for forensic testing. As for the pilot, he will today be the centre of the investigation. Police have only now been able to formally identify him, and two major questions remain unanswered. How was he able to gain access to the helicopter at the Cairns airport, and why? The company that owns the aircraft, Nautilus, have said in a statement it is fully cooperating with investigators.
The United States is rushing firepower to the Middle East as Israel braces for retaliatory attacks from Iran. The Pentagon has confirmed a guided missile submarine has been deployed to the region, as well as an aircraft carrier strike group. It's a response to increased tension in the region after the assassination of senior members of Hamas and Hezbollah. Bill Shorten is under fire after treating senior bureaucrats to lunch at one of Canberra's most luxurious hotels. Documents obtained by the opposition suggest the senior government minister spent $40,000 on the one-day leadership forum. Shadow Government Services Minister Paul Fletcher says his colleague needs to get back to basics and stop wasting money.
There's no problem with having planning meetings, but there are plenty of cheaper venues to do it. And you know, the great irony is he gave a speech at this event where he told the bureaucrats there is zero appetite for wasting money. This is while Services Australia is seeing the service levels that it provides to Australians plummeting.
Services Australia says it selected the venue as it best met logistical availability and value for money requirements. Workers' chances of a pay increase are being bolstered by a rise in pay expectations. Employers expect the average wage increase to be 3.8% in the 12 months to July, an increase on the 3% previously predicted. Australian HR Institute Chief Executive Sarah McCann-Bartlett says the labour market is still really tight, highlighting the need for employers to reward and retain employees.
Employers are still saying very strongly that they're actually going to grow their staffing levels overall. This is despite the fact that some have said that they are going to make more redundancies.
Police dog Axe has helped catch two men breaking into cars at Wavell. Patrols were called to Rose Terrace just after 5 a.m. after a witness reported seeing two men rummaging through his car. A 51-year-old Davern Park man and a 43-year-old from Irvingham have been arrested and are expected to be charged with illegal interference. Police suspect at least two cars were broken into in the area. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And Tom ran a bit of a setback for the Crows.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately, isn't it, Graham? And that's because key forward Taylor Walker won't be playing in that showdown as he recovers from an eye injury that he suffered in the match against the Bulldogs. That also means Darcy Fogarty and Riley Thilthorpe will shoulder the load in attack against the Power. Fogarty has been in career-best form in recent weeks and has now booted 39 goals for the season, 5 of which came last week against the Dogs. Teammate Josh Worrell telling Timmy G and Treaders his form has been great to watch.
Yeah, he's coming to his own in the last couple years. He's really performing, I feel like, and he's going to be a star of the competition, I think, in the future, which is nice.
Well, Melbourne has denied claims Christian Petrarca is open to being traded as the Demons prepare to miss out on the finals. There are reports the 28-year-old is disillusioned with the club over its direction while recovering from a lacerated spleen. Meantime, Essendon players have been described as lacking killer instinct following their shock loss to Gold Coast at home. The Bombers are on track to miss out on playing finals despite sitting in the top 4 8 rounds ago. Club great Matthew Lloyd says he's particularly concerned about the younger players.
Nick Cox, I don't think he fights hard enough or scraps hard enough. I think Jones, playing him as a tall winger, I still think he needs to fight and scrap harder. Archie Perkins is another one that I just don't think fights for his life enough. Sardis is another one that plays in the second. So that's just not on them. That's on Brad Scott, and that's on the senior players, and that's on the club.
And the focus in Paris is now turning to the Paralympics, which get going tomorrow fortnight. Australia is sending 160 athletes across 17 sports. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
Morning there, roads looking okay today. We're accident breakdown free, so Touchwood should have a good run to work. A few roadworks as per normal. You'll find them at Blair today at Russell Street near Sheer Oak Road. Also at Tea Tree Gully, North East Road near Perseverance Road. And got some works at Wingfield to look out for too. The Salisbury Highway near the Wingfield Ramp. Early morning cameras, Southern Expressway, Lonsdale. And where have we got another one? Here we go, Tennyson Street at Karata Park. Quitting smoking is hard, but so is heart disease, emphysema and mouth cancer. Choose your hard and choose to give up for good. Visit health.gov.au/give up for good. This message is brought to you by the Australian Government, Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Partly cloudy and 22 today. Tomorrow sunny 21. Thursday 24 with showers developing. And Friday showers 17. Currently it's 17 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Transform your outdoor space and turn it into a great year-round entertainment area with an opening and closing roof from Louver House. Our Louver House roof will let in the perfect combination of airflow and sunlight, so you can entertain no matter the weather. Best of all, they're manufactured right here in SA with rain sensors and options like LED lighting. Find out more with a free design measure and quote. See the light with Louver House. louverhouse.com.au.
Hello, Cherry. I'm listening. Don't miss Southern Cherry's latest finance offer across the Cherry Tiggo 7 Pro range with 5-star ANCAP and a 7-year warranty. And the finance rate? Well, that's too low to share on radio. You'll just have to ask the team at Southern Cherry yourself.
Approved applicants only. Credit criteria, fees, charges and terms and conditions apply. Finance is provided by Allied Retail Finance Proprietary Limited. ABN 39651319774. Trading as Cherry Motor Finance. Australian Credit Licence 483211.
Learn more at Southern Cherry.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes to 8. Some concerning reporting in the Oz and Fin Review this morning regarding some of the finer details of the AUKUS agreement, including a rather troubling sounding get out clause whereby the major parties to the agreement, not Australia, the UK and the US, can get out by way of a written statement with a 1-year warning. Now,
get out of what exactly?
The agreement.
The agreement to build submarines here in Adelaide.
Transferring technology, building them here and so forth. That sounds concerning. Have a listen to Simon Birmingham, who was on Sky News just a short time ago.
It's a long-term partnership. It's been a successful partnership. Frankly, I'm more concerned by the type of petty and petulant comments from the Defence Minister yesterday when he sought to take some swipe suggesting that AUKUS was nothing more than a thought bubble when the government was elected. That's an insult as much to President Biden and to the United Kingdom as it is to the Morrison government. It took a lot to get the US and the UK to the point of agreeing to share nuclear submarine technologies with Australia. We got them to that point. We welcome the advances that have been made, and we all have to work determinedly, bipartisanly, to make sure that we maintain that commitment.
Some of the other details are revealed in the reporting. The Australian government, and thereby the taxpayer, will indemnify the UK and US government for any losses accrued over the course of the AUKUS agreement, the technology transfer, including the Virginia-class submarines to Australia.
So who would bear the cost of the losses then?
Us.
Sounds like a nice deal. if you're not Australia, doesn't it?
Well, you know what? Whether how high risk these are is one thing, but it does give you some insight of what we had to give to try and get these guys to the table to come to this agreement. Phil Curry is the political editor of the Australian Financial Review. They've written extensively about this morning. Phil, does any of this surprise or concern you, or is this all just part and parcel of an agreement this size?
Oh, a bit of both. I mean, this is this sort of written document that's appeared in the last few days that sort of it explains all the details of the agreement and who's on the hook for what. And yeah, as you said in your intro, it's pretty much everything's on us. I think it reflects the fact that we wanted this, and it was our idea. It wasn't sort of something that the Americans or the British came up with. It was the Morrison government, and then willingly embraced by the Labor government. It's probably why Simon Birmingham wasn't too critical of it, because both major parties own this. But it does look, I mean, the fact they could walk away 12 months' notice as the Americans or the Brits if the pact threatened their own nuclear submarine programs, as in they wouldn't have to supply us with nuclear subs because their own interests came first, stuff like that. It's all still very hypothetical, as I said. I'll believe it when I see it if we ever build one of these things or have one. But yeah, it does show that it was a seller's market, if you like, when this pact was put together. It was us wanting this nuclear technology from the Americans and later on from the British, and so it comes with a lot of caveats that it's all on us. If it goes pear-shaped, and at any stage they can walk away. So it does. I think you can sort of say it. It underscores the. It's not as sort of rosy and peachy as it's been publicly portrayed to be. And there's a lot of risk in this over a long time financially. I mean, we were dumping a lot of money into this AUKUS scheme, and if the Brits or the Americans walked away in 10 years' time, we could all look pretty stupid. Not to mention broke. Not that there's any inclination they would, but you never know.
So, Phil, if they did walk away, though, and we're not going to be producing subs, where would Australia get subs from? Because
oh God,
because my understanding is that the Americans aren't producing enough subs at the moment to satisfy their own needs, let alone start selling them to other countries, even countries that they're mates with.
Well, they zealously guard their technology, their Virginia-class subs, and the plan is that we buy one or two second-hand ones until we start building our own. But it's not even, as you said, it's not even guaranteed there'll be one or two second-hand ones to buy. And also, there's still a lot. I mean, even though Congress has passed the legislation, there's still a lot of unease about giving us these submarines with all the technology and stuff. But if it all fell over, Dave, we'd be back to square one again. back to going to the Japanese and the French and
South Koreans.
I think we're just stuck in this endless cycle now of submarine hell, which started about 30 years ago, and it's just a perennial story. Our grandkids will be writing about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how does submarine hell compare to Carlton Football Club fan hell?
Oh, well, that was a good segue. Look, what do you say? There's no words. It's about as predictable as Adelaide winning at the end of the season when it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We lose when it does matter. I have had a secret. We are, because everyone's out, including Kerno. We're going to be playing ray gun at full forward this weekend. I'll give you the strong tip.
Maybe the kangaroo move might throw West Coast off, mate.
That'll fox them.
West Coast are almost even money with you guys.
Oh, I'm tipping for the first time this year. I'm not tipping Carlton. I wasted all that money going to the Collingwood game last week, and they've been rancid for 6 weeks, and I don't know what happened on the weekend, but it was the worst. I reckon that's the top 5 worst games ever played in 50 years. It's up there. It was appalling. They went back 10 years in time, and the lid's back on.
They have had a shocking run of injuries, though.
Oh yeah, but who hasn't? And if you look at that game on the weekend, they were playing appallingly before they started getting hurt. And we started that game with a full-strength side, minus only Tom de Koning, and they just didn't show up. Something's going on, and it's not good, but another season down the gurgler. Yeah. So I'm on the power.
You're on the power?
Yeah, I like Ken Hinkley. He's a good bloke. I'd like to see him win. And
seriously?
Well, the only South Australian team in the 8, so I'll go for them. Well, where's you going to go for?
As a Sturt man, though, haven't you got shocking memories of Bomber Clifford and Dave Granger belting Phil Heinrich?
All that. Well, the Crows aren't in it, so you can't barrack for them. So, And who else are you going to go for?
Oh, just
Brisbane.
pay attention on another sport entirely, you know.
Breaking.
Yeah, that's right.
I might take it up.
That's right.
Couldn't do any worse. It was like a Chris Lilly sketch, wasn't it?
It was something else, that's for sure. Good on you, mate.
See you guys.
Cheers, Phil.
Phil Curry, the Australian Financial Review.
You get something for both sides of the brain with Phil.
Yep.
Top shelf political and national security analysis and the sheer agony of being a Carlton supporter.
Phil managed to achieve, I think, everyone who cares about those things felt worse about both of them. If you care about AUKUS, you felt worse about it. If you care about the Carlton Football Club, you felt worse about it.
I like the idea of a ray gun coming out for the Blue Baggers on Sunday.
Well, they don't have much left, that's for sure.
That's right.
Shall we conduct a jury trial?
Let's do it.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
New leader of the Liberal Party as of yesterday, Vincent Tarzia, has taken the reins from David Spears after his resignation last week. His first press conference contained this bold prediction.
The Liberal Party will win the state election in 2026.
The Liberal Party will win the state election in 2026. Is Vincent Tarzia's declaration, his prediction, inspirational or delusional? Inspirational or delusional? Let us know your thoughts. First time that Vincent Tarzia has been put to the jury test, I think. 8223 Get calling now. Be part of the jury. You can remain totally anonymous. Inspirational or delusional?
Is it possible that it's actually both things at the same time? That part of it, and it's something we haven't really heard from the Libs for a couple of years now, that they need to at least, even if they don't believe, they've got to pretend that they do.
Yes, and they haven't talked like that for a while. I think what was clear yesterday is Vincent Tarzia will be an infusion of energy and activity. Now, whether it ultimately turns into achievement remains to be seen. But he's going to say things like that. He's going to work, and it'll be interesting to see whether that resonates with people.
Yeah, and with his own party. Because that's a big part of it. The internal battle. But let us know, folks. Let us know what you think. We've had
inspirational or delusional. 8223 Get calling now. The jury's assembling. We might take a quick break, and we'll get the full panel together, and then we'll get the verdict on the other side of the break. Traffic first, thanks to FIVEAA House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. She's looking okay for the run-in today. Accident breakdown. Freebies in the usual spots this morning. Green Junction Road at Jeps Cross. A little bit sluggish too. Fitzroy Terrace North Adelaide, and we are slow south road. I think it's in both directions. Works to look out for Brighton Road near Marlborough Street, and cameras this morning. Tennyson Street, Karata Park, and Winston Avenue at Cumberland Park. Got FBOS? Got to have fees, right? Nope, not happening. Not with SmartPay, zero cost FBOS. Visit smartpay.com.au. T's and C's and minimum turnover apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Deliver more with Toyota, the world's #1 forklift brand. Choose from a great range including pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts, right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
Pressure washing your entire home, driveway, pavers, retaining walls and windows is way easier than you think, but not if you do it yourself. Forget that. Call Fresh Front, Adelaide's #1 rated pressure cleaning company, making tired homes and businesses look new again. Fresh Front are trained to clean just about every surface safely, so no damage. Fresh Front work harder than anyone to ensure your satisfaction or your money back. Visit freshfront.com.au. Looks like new.
If you love your home, but you've never been in love with your kitchen, well, the answer is not far away.
Nope, just 15 minutes up the freeway, in fact, because that's where you'll find Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It boasts the largest kitchen design showroom in the Adelaide Hills, plus it's a family business with 35 years' experience, which means that they care about taking care of you.
And their expertise goes further than kitchens. They can grant laundries, linen cupboards, robes and vanities, plus all cabinet installations are backed by a 10-year warranty.
Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream kitchen a reality. See more at balhannakitchens.com.au.
Don't let the sun set on your energy savings.
With NRG Solar's cutting-edge batteries, your energy independence lasts long after sunset. Enjoy the freedom of solar, even when you're not home. Experience the future of energy. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. NRG Solar, 1275 South Road, St Mary's, or call 1300 858 160 to explore a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
In the criminal justice system, all defendants are innocent until proven guilty, either by confession, plea bargain, or trial by jury. This is one of those trials.
Vincent Tarsia's first press conference as Liberal leader, he made this declaration.
The Liberal Party will win the state election in 2026.
Asking the jury this morning, is that inspirational or delusional? Juror number one, what say you?
Hello.
Hi
Good
there.
morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. I think he's very delusional. I think the Labor Party, because of some issues that they haven't addressed and the ramping and the health, will probably not have a landslide. But you need to realise who he's up against. He's up against the Teflon man in the Premier, who has got amazing je ne sais quoi. He has got charisma. And he could have you believing that the moon will turn green. Even though you're on some intelligent level, you know that what he's telling you isn't exactly true. But by the time you walk away, you might think, well, hang on, he's a really nice guy, and maybe it might turn green, even though on a level you know that it won't. And he's very much in the same gear. Look at him, he's muscled up, he's tall, he's statuesque. Women love him, and the women's vote is going to be, is really crucial as well. No, I don't think so. I think he's quite delusional, and, the Premier is very much, to me, in the same gear. If you look at Richard Gere and George Clooney,
Wow.
they get better with age. And he's like I can compare him to a Grange. He just gets better with age.
Oh boy, he's going to love that. Part of it, I
Be
think.
still my
anyway,
foolish heart.
it was a robust verdict from juror number one.
Certainly
Thank
was.
you. Juror number two, good morning.
G'day there, how you going?
Good, thanks, mate.
He's delusional. Tell him he's dreaming.
Thank you, juror
Good on
number
you,
two.
juror number two.
Juror number three, good morning.
Oh, good morning. I say delusional. I agree with everything the number one said, and I'd like to add, who's going to vote for a bloke with as much charisma as Lurch from the Addams family?
Okay. Thank you, juror number three. This is the cut and the thrust of politics, isn't it? Juror number four, good morning.
Gentlemen, delusional. Stephen Marshall couldn't win with 53% of the two-party preferred vote in 2014, so I'm not sure how Mr. Tarsia thinks he's going to get from 45 to 53 and still fall short. So completely and utterly delusional.
Thank you, juror number four. That was a nice statistical analysis of things. Juror number five, good morning.
Good morning. How you going?
Good, very well.
Juror number five.
Now, I reckon it's delusional. I think he's got the personality of a dead chook. However, he's got a lot of work to do to get the party united, and they haven't been united for as long as I can remember, and I'm nearly 60.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you, juror number five.
And lastly, juror number six, what's your verdict?
Definitely delusional. If he thinks he's going to win by fixing hospitals and ramping, he's got his brain in his boot, because it was predicted 20 years ago that we needed more hospitals.
Juror number six, thank you. I like the turn of phrase, brain in your boot. I like that.
We don't often get clean sweeps.
That was a clean
sweep. That was 6-zip for delusional.
I'm just talking...
Similar pattern on the text line.
Generally the text line is more diverse. Because...
Well, we'll start with a positive one. Baz from Marino says, inspirational. Ramping and the cost of living are a stone around Labor's neck that is only getting heavier. Then we have this one, delusional. Daniel says Vincent Tarsia needs to be drug tested after making that declaration. And Rob says, in terms of predicting that the Liberals will win the election, Rob says, which state Liberal Party is he talking about?
You know, I would defend him for making that prediction.
Yeah,
because it's a bit like a football coach at the start of the season. Like, I'm sure Adam Simpson from West Coast was asked, if he was asked this year, do you think you guys can make finals? He would have gone, yeah, that's our aim. You know, everything going well. We had a good pre-season. We want to make, like, what else? That's why you're there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you don't believe you can
it
win.
It sort of explains why why Spears is no longer there.
Yeah, I don't think he believed that.
No.
He voted, he may have texted in delusional.
Well, he did such a poor job of masking his sense of sort of futility.
Yes.
Over it all, which I think manifested itself in his work ethic. You know, like I was thinking about all the stories that I ever did with him for The Australian about things like The Voice and what have you, where he always made really good points. He would make excellent points, and I think part of it is because he was very genuine in being like a product of Hallett Cove. You know, he used that as his barometer for reading the mood beyond his seat, and he read it well. And I had lots of conversations with him in the lead up to the Voice referendum. I can remember him saying...
He predicted its doom well before anyone else.
And he always gave me great quotes. But, you know, the thing was about every single one of those stories, I was the one who rang him. I never, ever, ever, ever got a call from him saying, here's an idea for a story. It was always the other way around where it's like, hey, do you reckon I could get some quotes off you for a piece I'm thinking about writing for Saturday? And you think, well... When you're the leader of the opposition, it's actually your job to be the annoying one.
Yeah.
You know, you're not sitting there waiting for the calls to come into you, because generally no one will ring you.
Well, I think in recent memory, Stephen Marshall enjoyed a really good relationship with local media, which he established and well, I'm talking about as opposition leader.
Oh, yeah.
As opposition leader. Things changed as a premier, which it often does.
And it was
most famously, Mike
exhaustion.
Rann most famously wrote the playbook on how you behave as an opposition leader and how you feed local media and how you get on with them.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And it's not about sucking up to the media. It's about, because the media is the conduit by which you talk to the public. It's about using the media. It's about positioning yourself and getting your name out there. I mean, when Carr was opposition leader and did the improbable in New South Wales, beating John Fahey just won the right to host the Sydney Olympics. He won the Olympics. He lost the election.
Yeah.
You know, but Carr used to say that when you're the leader of the opposition, you have to act with the ethics and energy of a current affair news crew.
Yeah.
And it's right. So, you know, at least delusional perhaps, but at least he sounds like he's going to have a crack, and we'll be hearing more from him later in the program.
All right. Well, the jury, suffice to say, the jury are yet to be moved. But still plenty of time until 2026. That's probably all the Duttons texts that are there at the moment. After 8 o'clock, big news for us here at 5AA. Big announcement, and hopefully a big, big number. It's going to be pretty good because we got some terrific donations from some big people and big entities here in South Australia, like the AHA's $15,000, which is just a stunning amount of money they donated to the Undy Drive.
Amazing.
After 8:30 today, we're going to make it official. We'll announce the figure, and we'll get that big cheque to Catherine House and Hutt Street Centre.
The level of support that we got from the AHA, from Luther House, from McGain, from Foodland, the list just goes on and on. It was absolutely fantastic. So many people in business, but so many private individuals as well. I saw a lot of people at the footy, people I didn't know, on Sunday and also on Saturday at Sturt Centrals, and like so many people were coming up going, oh, that was a really good week of radio, but it was fun for a good reason, like it was for a good cause, even up to and including having to stand up in the Jack Odie stand and apologise to 150 people at the Sturt lunch for wearing the Norwood jumper.
I thought they were going to make you do that sort of, you know, the shame walk they used to do in medieval times, where you sort of have your hands in the stocks and you're sort of walking naked paraded through the crowd and whipped. People throw rotten fruit at you.
Cambridge and Oxford being pelted by Sturt fans.
Maybe that's something they could do for the final round. Just an idea.
Exactly.
5AA News is coming up. Break it 8 next.
Imagine having to do your washing with a washboard. Just you, a giant pile of dirty clothes, and a lot of elbow grease. Or imagine having to start a fire for the simplest things, like bathing, cooking, or keeping warm. Thankfully, these activities can stay in our imagination because appliances make our lives easy, and Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes it even easier. Like right now, you could save up to $1,500 on a Smeg Victoria cooker. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery. Paynham Road, St Peters.
Now let's see what's in the swear jar at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens.
Oi, that's a cookie jar.
Busted. My mistake. Let's see. Here it is. Here's one from Renette, an interior designer at Buy Urban for over 20 years. Renette swears to ensure your dream bathroom becomes a wonderful reality. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts. Wouldn't mind a cookie.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now I know a great team when I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. The Shipway team are the best in the business. They've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you, anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
When you die, who gets what? Will your kids or relatives argue over your estate? Will your beneficiaries be protected? Will your estate be tax effective? Will your wishes be respected and carried out? Speak with Donlan Lawyers now for peace of mind. Donlan Lawyers for wills and estate planning. Visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 22 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Physio Extra for Locomat robotic technology treating stroke, cerebral palsy, brain and spinal cord injuries. Visit physioextra.com.
Mystery surrounds the moments leading up to the fatal helicopter crash in far north Queensland. Authorities say it was a miracle no one else was killed or seriously injured in the incident at the Doubletree Hotel by Hilton yesterday morning. Australian Transport Safety Bureau Chief Commissioner Angus Mitchell has told Today they are still collecting evidence from the scene.
Still got quite a bit of intelligence to go through, and that evidence, and a lot of that we'll take back to our lab in Canberra, particularly when it comes to the recording devices, to get a better idea of how this person managed to get the helicopter off the ground in the first place. That's no easy task.
Police are still trying to find the Hoon driver who ripped up the Modbury Jets soccer pitch. The white ute did burnouts on the newly upgraded surface on Sunday night, leaving over 1,000 metres of tyre tracks. It's left the club with nowhere to train, but Jets chairman Darren Cross says other clubs have offered to help out.
The local clubs within our area, Tea Tree Gully and Modbury Soccer Club and Modbury Vista, they're aware of our plight and they've offered their facilities for us. So we'll see where we're at come Thursday, and if we need to tap into that, we will. We have a good relationship with the other sporting clubs in the area.
Meantime, a drink driver has been caught after doing burnouts in Moonta Bay last night. The 20-year-old man from the mid-north blew over the limit, and further checks revealed he didn't have a licence and the vehicle was also unregistered. He's facing a range of charges, and the vehicle he was driving has been impounded and defected. Parents are being told to double-check baby food packaging, with many falling short of World Health Organization standards. A study of infant and toddler foods on supermarket shelves has found a number of unregulated claims, misleading parents into thinking the often sugar-loaded products are healthy. Dietitian Daisy Coyle says the littlest Australians are being let down and deserve the best start to life.
We looked at 300 packaged foods in infants and toddlers and saw that 80% failed to meet the World Health Organization nutritional benchmarks, and none of them met the marketing and promotional guidelines set by the World Health Organization.
Labor and Coalition MPs are backing a blanket ban on gambling advertising to curb the social and economic damage caused by heavy losses. The federal government is drafting a plan to limit the amount of ads on television and social media, but some of its own backbenchers are among those pushing for tougher restrictions. The hard work and dedication of Red Cross volunteers is being celebrated as it marks 110 years. Iconic landmarks across Australia will be lit up red tonight. New South Wales Director Kate Miranda says Australian Red Cross has been deeply woven into the fabric of the nation since World War I.
We've played a vital role in the lives of millions, from the contributions of Red Cross lifeblood to our broader humanitarian efforts. We've been there through every major natural disaster to support people and communities right across the country.
In Adelaide, the Riverbank Precinct pedestrian bridge in Adelaide Oval will be lit up in red tonight to celebrate the work of Red Cross. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And now here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Port Adelaide's players will train early this afternoon as excitement builds around Showdown 56. The Power must win to hold their spot in the top four, while the Crows will be hoping to spoil their finals hopes. But they'll have to do it without forward Taylor Walker, who's already been ruled out with an eye injury. Still on footy, and the future of Tim English remains unclear with 2 rounds left in the AFL home and away season. Dogs coach Luke Beveridge telling Fox Footy he remains hopeful the ruckman will reject free agency offers.
It's one of those things that it's never done until it's done, and from what Sammy Power, who's our list manager, tells us, the conversations have been positive and he's keen to stay in Melbourne and play with the Bulldogs. But ultimately, you're only on this journey once, so you never begrudge a player from exploring what the other offers might be.
Let's go to basketball. The Adelaide 36ers will train this morning with new coach Mike Wells set to address the media following the shock sacking of coach Scott Ninnis. Wells does have a wealth of experience following more than 25 years in the NBA as an assistant. To tennis, and Aussie Alexei Popyrin will play for the biggest title of his career when he takes on Russia's Andrei Rublev in the final of the Masters 1000 event in Montreal. England cricket captain Ben Stokes has been carried from the field during the 100 tournament. Stokes appeared to badly pull his hamstring while batting. And Brazilian football star Vinicius Jr. has reportedly been offered €1 billion to move from Real Madrid to the Saudi League. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
Morning there. Roads are looking really good today. We're accident or breakdown free, so a good start to the day. Busy in the usual spots. Port Wakefield Road at Cavan, also sluggish at Porford Expressway at Gilman, and slow going south road at Ferguson both directions. Works at Teacher Galley to look out for today. North East Road to Perseverance Road with cameras, Alawina Avenue, Mitchell Park and Anzac Highway in Ashford. Right now, when you buy a new or demo Ford Transit or Transit Custom, you'll get an amazing service offer at no extra cost. E-Transit excluded. See your Ford dealer now for full terms and exclusions. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Partly cloudy and 22 today. Tomorrow sunny 21. Thursday showers developing and 24. Friday 17 with showers. Currently it's 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 8. We've undercooked this. The iPhone on a stick paints a pretty picture of the morning outside in Adelaide today.
Beautiful.
Looks beautiful out there right now.
It's going to be a great day.
Limited, little bit of cloud over the hills, but not a great deal. It was
nice being warm, isn't it? It was 17 when I got up this morning. 17.
It's 17 right now.
Yeah. It was 17 at 5:30.
Well, there's plenty of days that haven't been anywhere near 17 recently.
No.
Mornings that have been 5, 4, 3. It's been shocking. 22 the expected top today. It's going to be pretty nice. And then tomorrow, 21 as well. So still 2 lovely days. Even Thursday, a lot of it's going to be pretty good. 24 before the shower comes through and the rain for late Thursday and Friday. But what a beautiful little spell, a teasing spell of nice weather for August.
First taste of spring.
You can always see the wonderful work of the iPhone on the stick and everything that comes with the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. Log on. We've got a news ticker. We can get you across everything that's going on over the course of the morning. 9 after 8. Time for breaking at 8.
Well, by a margin of 18-4, the member for Hartley out there in Campbelltown, Vincent Tarzia, was elected the leader of the Liberal opposition yesterday, and we have him on as our guest for Breaking at 8 this morning. Mr. Tarzia, good morning and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Will. Good morning, Pembo, and good morning to your listeners as well.
So 18-4, would you have preferred to have been elected unchallenged, and do you have any concerns that, knowing that there are 4 people who didn't want you in the job, that you might be beset by the similar sort of sniping that David Spears claims to have faced?
Look, it's a really good series of questions there. Look, I'm quite confident that I've got great support quite broadly right across the party. The beautiful thing about the Liberal Party is we go about these things, we have our processes. We don't get the union movement together, meet in a smoky room in a restaurant downtown and sort these things out like that. We actually have an open process, a transparent process. And to be honest, I'm really looking forward to just looking now to the future, because I think people are just over politicians fighting and talking amongst themselves about these types of matters. I think there's great support there across the board. I've made it very clear that I have gotten around everybody. I want to bring everyone in, collaborate with people. At the end of the day, it's about now focusing on putting the right people in the right positions to do the best thing we can by the people of our great state.
Have you spoken to David Spears since yesterday, and would you have him on the front bench as a shadow minister?
So David and I were pre-selected on the same weekend. We fought in the trenches. We've taken seats off the Labor Party together, held seats against the Labor Party as well, and I consider him a dear friend and colleague. One of the first calls I made was actually to David yesterday. We've exchanged messages. We've been in contact with each other, with the teams as well around us. But David has obviously had a really rough time in terms of the last week or so. So I've made it very clear David needs to just take as much time as he needs. He's going away at the end of the week because I basically got straight into the car, headed to Port Pirie yesterday for our love-in. I haven't seen him face to face, but I'm really.
But you have been speaking to him, though. You have been speaking to him.
Well, I put a call into him. One of the first calls I made was to.
Did he answer the call
yesterday? Well, look, all I'll say is the correspondence and the way that we exchange messages. That's very private. So I put a call straight in.
But can you say was it a one-way or a two-way conversation?
No. I think it's fair to say that there's definitely been two-way messages that have been exchanged. Those communications, obviously private, you'd expect that's a sensitive time, but I made it very clear that David remains welcome in the Liberal team. He's a valued member of the team, and we've really got to preserve his legacy as a former leader.
Sure, but is he going to stick around, though? Because he said when he was on here with Stacey on Friday, he made it pretty clear. Well, he made two things pretty clear. The first was a bit of a nudge, wink, wink in your direction about who he thought was dragging him down. And the second was that if the people he thought were the leakers were rewarded, he'd be out. Is he going to stay?
Well, I've got no reason to suggest that he's not staying in the Liberal Party. I certainly was not undermining David Spears. I'll be very clear about that. And, over the last 2.5 years, I've been relentlessly focused on my portfolios, my electorate, and also supporting our colleagues. And like I said, I'll be taking that same relentless focus in leading the team as we present that future-focused vision in the coming days, weeks and months ahead.
What is your vision for the state?
Well, there's two fundamental things. One is obviously, of course, about holding the government to account. We know that we have a very bad government here that are failing the people of South Australia on a whole heap of fronts. I mean, if you start with, failing to deal with the cost of living crisis. We know that the average family is over $20,000 worse off since the start of the election. A lot of people are struggling out there, struggling to pay their bills. We had a forum last night, and it was overwhelmingly clear that people are battling out there and they're demanding more of the government. We know that the government's failing to support small businesses. It seems to be that businesses are just crying out for help. And then relating to that, to what we would do, I think it's important to note that we've got a great set of policies. Some of that suite of policies we've already released in terms of, for example, calling for the payroll tax threshold to be lifted, calling for exemptions for trainees and apprentices. In housing, we've already called for stamp duty relief on existing homes. So in health, we've already said that we would scrap Labor's GP payroll tax as well. So this whole thing about, what would you do differently? Well, I think what we would do differently is we know that Labor promised to fix the ramping crisis. We know that it's never been worse than it is. That for July, there were 5,539 hours lost on the ramp. We know that the relationships with some of these stakeholders hasn't been ideal. That's why the first letter that I scribed yesterday was actually to Leah Watkins from the Ambulance Employees Association of South Australia. There's no doubt that there has to be a reset there. So I've written to her and I've said, let's talk, let's catch up, because this government is not doing what it said it would be doing. And I'm going to continue to reset and build those relationships, whether it's with builders, whether it's in others in the commercial industry, the community. We're obviously going to have a different style, but we want to reset those relationships, with the media, with the business community, with the party and the community as well.
Speaking of resetting relationships, your bold prediction of winning the 2026 election would seem to require some fence mending with some former Liberals, now independents. I'd suggest Dan Cregan's too far gone now, but Nick McBride, Troy Bell, Fraser Ellis, are you going to be reaching out to these guys? Do you think you can welcome them back to the fold or have more success in welcoming them back than your predecessor had?
I consider all the people that you mentioned dear friends. I mean, Troy was in the Parliament basically at the same time as me, and I've got a good working relationship with all of those names that you just mentioned. I'd love nothing better than one day if they decided that they wanted to come back into the Liberal Party. But initially, I think we need to work on certainly having good working relationships with the crossbench right across the board, whether that's in the lower house or the upper house, and a number of them have reached out to me to discuss how we might be able to work together. Obviously, we'll keep those communications private, but I think that's really a positive sign. So I think there is a genuine opportunity to reset and recalibrate there.
We don't want to rain on your parade, Mr. Tarzi, at less than 24 hours since you ascended to the throne, but we asked our listeners about your election declaration that you can win in 2026. Was it inspirational or delusional? And we got a full 6 out of 6 people saying they thought it was delusional. Do you believe it deep down? Do you genuinely think that things can change that fast?
Well, I can say in 2017, Pembo, you would have got pretty good odds on me if you backed me to beat Nick Xenophon at the time. I can say that. And look, it's not about that. I understand we've got a mammoth task ahead of us, but I'm willing to do the yards, do the hard work, front up every day, and make sure that we put the best people in the best positions and earn the trust of South Australians, win the hearts, win the minds, come up with a policy to make sure that we can do everything we can to win in 2026.
You mentioned at the outset of this interview that you need to get the right people in the right jobs. When can we expect some sort of announcement regarding your new look shadow cabinet?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Look, it's certainly not months. It's days or if not weeks, but it's certainly not months. There's a few moving parts at the moment. We've got a number of people that are obviously on leave at the moment, and of course the ballot was only yesterday. So don't worry, I will certainly be on your show when I have more to say.
Good stuff. Vincent Tarzia, the newly elected leader of the opposition. Thank you very much for joining us this morning for Breaking at 8. There you go, folks. Vincent Tarzia. I think from what I can gather, I think his first interview was yesterday with Stacey, who's been absolutely smashing it on this story. She had David Spears on last Friday and was only a few weeks ago in our regular Monday catch-ups giving some pretty good inside predictions based on some of the stuff that happened at that media ball about David Spears' possible exit. Now, exit. As of last Friday or last Thursday when he chucked it in. But, not in a partisan sense, but from the conviction that you get good government when you get good opposition, we should wish him well.
Absolutely.
In terms of not saying may he win or not win, but it would be good to have more scrutiny on this government because, as we said yesterday, there have been significant failures. The biggest, obviously, you tell the entire state you're going to fix the hospital system and it gets worse, vastly worse. There's a difference between promising to do something and it still being a problem, or promising to do something and it becomes a vastly bigger problem when you've spent so much money on it. Like, how does that happen? It's easily the biggest Achilles heel that the government has. But on top of that, there's always other issues, child protection, planning, housing, cost of living, renewables. I mean, the hydrogen promise. How's that affecting your power bills at the moment in South Australia? Like, this is a target-rich environment. And the other thing too, delusional perhaps, particularly to your point, mate, about how many independent ex-libs there are, and some of them are completely lost causes, like Dan Cregan, who's now swanning around with his new mates in the Malinowskis government. But you think about Campbell Newman, came in, thumping majority, lost the next election. You think about Stephen Marshall. Now, I know that there was a pretty unique set of circumstances, but in 2019, 2020, his approval rating was 88% at one point. He could walk from one end of the parade to the other, knowing that 9 out of every 10 people, in fact, it might have been higher than 88% in the seat of Dunstan. He was the cock of the walk, now he's a feather duster. So politics is volatile, and it's more volatile than it's ever been. And the one tactical downside for Vincent Tarzia is I think the one person who knows that or makes that point more forcefully than anybody in South Australia happens to be the Premier.
20 minutes after 8, lots of reviews coming in of our first chat with Vincent Tarzia. We'll get to some of those on the Duttons text line in a moment. You can call in, though, too. First time we've had him on the program as the opposition leader. We're, as always, fascinated by our listeners' thoughts. 8223 0000 is the number. Let us know what you think. We'll get to some of that feedback very, very shortly. Traffic first, thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. Roads looking okay today. Accident and breakdown free. Busy in the usual spots. Port Wakefield Road at Chips Cross. Also the Port Expressway, Port Adelaide, and slow southward of Thibberts in both directions. Down to 40 at the moment at Mawson Lakes. The Salisbury Harwood and Eldersmith Road for works with the Cameron-Toothie Street at Melbourne. Try the Optus mobile network free for 7 days with no commitments. Join the Optus network trial with an eSIM via the My Optus app. Visit optus.com.au/trial. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
Wow, Crows came out of the blocks. Young Fogarty played his 100th game. He kicked 5.
And he's created some headlines too.
They're obviously playing really good football. To cost them their year would be unbelievable.
If I'm coaching, I know what Mark Williams would have done back in the day.
You'd be using them.
He would have stuck that up on the whiteboard and said, guess what these guys think they're going to do?
The 5AA Sports Show.
Don't worry about that.
Build
it's
it
a
up.
showdown, isn't it?
It's a big game.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Don't let it get away. Tickets for the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery are over 50% sold. It's not too late. You could win a life-changing $3.9 million grand prize in Glenelg East. Plus, your tickets stay in more than 10,000 draws, including $1 million cash, luxury vehicles and getaways. Life-changing prizes. Life-changing impact. Homelottery.com.au. Licence M14585.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the Jayco. Jump in the Jayco. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
Now, when your loved one needs round-the-clock care, it's a lot of responsibility. Ensuring they live independently and in comfort is a lot to consider.
Luckily, Always Care is always there. Their ability to coordinate shared and supported independent living for those needing around-the-clock care is second to none.
Now, they'll expertly match your loved one with their ideal housemates based on their required level of care and personality, and with the right support worker to ensure they receive the care they need in a harmonious and comfortable environment.
Always Care has SIL or SDA housing all across SA, so your loved one won't be far. They'll also provide respite with like-minded housemates, so you can take some time for yourself, and this can often be a way to trial living independently. If you or a loved one needs short-term care or ongoing care in perfectly matched shared living, consider Always Care. Visit alwayscare.com.au.
Gone are the days of bulky solar panels. NRG Solar is ushering in a new era of sleek, efficient solar technology. With just a few panels, harness the power of the sun like never before. The equation is simple. More efficiency, more savings. Join the revolution with NRG Solar. Discover simplicity at 1275 South Road St Mary's or online at nrgsolar.com.au. NRG Solar, for a brighter, more sustainable tomorrow.
Imagine having to do your washing with a washboard. Just you, a giant pile of dirty clothes and a lot of elbow grease. Or imagine having to start a fire for the simplest things, like bathing, cooking or keeping warm. Thankfully, these activities can stay in our imagination because appliances make our lives easy, and Adelaide Appliance Gallery makes it even easier. Like right now, you could save up to $1,500 on a Smeg Victoria cooker. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery. Paynham Road, St Peters.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes after 8, gee, there are a mountain of Dutton's texts coming through at the moment following our first chat with Vincent Tarzi as Liberal opposition leader. We've had some conversations with him previously in his shadow portfolio. We'll get to some of those in a moment. You can call in 218 0000, which is exactly what John in Port Wakefield has done. Morning to you, John.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks, John.
Good. Okay, well, good luck to Vincent. You know, he speaks well. Not as well as perhaps Alexander Downer, but he does speak very well. But if you guys have a listen to your little chat with Stacey Lee yesterday, the three of you almost borderlined on bullying David Spears. I mean, the poor bugger said he's had a gutsful, he's had enough. If you put yourself in his shoes and listen to that interview, I can imagine that his gut would have been reaching.
Well,
do you think that or not?
With an interview with him, we didn't interview him yesterday. Stacey interviewed him on Friday.
Yes, but you, Stacey, and David were talking about him. Will, were talking about him and laughing at him yesterday. Yes, he is a bit of a sook, but hey, we don't know what's going on in his head.
The point we were making...
We don't know the pressures.
But the point we were making, and it's a point I'd still make today, John, is that if you decide that you've had a gutful, and they were his words, you've had a gutful of the leadership, that's one thing. But to raise the spectre of actually damaging your own party, the party you've been voted by the people of Hallett Cove to represent as a Liberal, and if you did, as he threatened to do, a full-blown dummy spit and quit, that would be the act of a sook. And that's, you know, apologies for plain language, but I think, you know, in an Australian knockabout way, there's no other way to describe it, really. We weren't trying to dance on his grave.
Yeah, the way I saw it, it was basically the poor bloke's down. I mean, I didn't particularly like him, but the poor bloke's down, and the three of you were just kicking him in the guts. That's what it seemed like to me. I don't know if anyone else... I listened to it this morning when Rennie was on.
Yeah.
Or just after Rennie was on this morning. I listened very closely to that interview, and it really did, to me, it seemed like borderline, almost borderline of bullying.
Yeah, fair enough.
The poor bugger.
No, thank you, John.
Well, politics is a cruel business, I guess, and one thing I would say is that anything we are saying on air is probably milder than what some Liberals have been saying about him in private since he made the comments on Stacey Lee's program. But, yeah, it's not a job for the faint-hearted, is it? And the text line bears it out. I mean, you know, what is it, 18 hours into the job, half the texters are saying Vincent Tarzi's kidding himself, that interview was appalling and there's no way he's ever going to be Premier.
We'll read some of those out in a second.
Others are saying good on him for targeting the right issues and sounding much more confident and committed and promising to take the fight up to Mallee 24/7.
John's point is right in one sense. The language that you use to talk politics and assess the performance of politicians is more robust than any other line of work. It should be. Like they're being paid by taxpayers.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Compare it to footy. We could sit here now having a conversation about, by name, the 3 people or 5 people in the Crows who should be delisted, in our view. But you never go down that path because you go, oh, they don't deserve that. They're good blokes. They're this, they're that. Now, there's plenty of people in politics who are good blokes too. But, you know, you'll think nothing about coming in and saying Katrine Hilliard has to go.
Yeah, someone should be sacked.
Yeah. Or Zoe Bettison has to go.
But I actually don't think that's a weak... Like, I think that's a strength of free speech and democracy.
Go, by the way.
No, but using it as an example.
Yeah.
I think that's a sign of a healthy system. Like, you should be able to have frank and robust conversations about the performance of the people that represent you in Parliament.
I would say, too, that David Spears brought some of it on himself. Like, I mean, the handling of this whole trip thing, sending texts that were just clearly rubbish. There's no trip. And now he's going on it.
Yeah.
Like, that sort of invites a lack of respect.
Vinny and Grange, good morning to you.
Howdy, guys. How are you?
Yeah,
Look,
good, thanks, mate.
Well, I was living on the other side of town. I had a trouble with this tree. I wanted Mr. Tarsi to give me a hand. Well, I went to his office. I saw him. He says he's got to give me a hand. What happens was he passed me to one of his sidekicks, and I got nowhere. Absolutely frustrated because he promised he was going to help me, and he never helped me. But then I found a politician who did, and he wasn't Liberal and he wasn't Labor. And this guy helped me. He went out of his way to help me, and I got rid of that tree so I can build a house.
All right, good stuff, Vinny. Thank you.
Who was the poly, out of interest, Vinny?
Sorry?
Who was the politician who helped you?
Frank Pangallo.
Okay. Good old Frank.
Hmm.
Haven't spoken to Frank for a while. Hopefully he's come along right. He's got his health battle.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll get to more of these texts. There's so many of them coming through. 5AA News time. Back with more very shortly.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise.
Precise. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. We're helping life flow.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
What's the quickest and most affordable way to add noticeable value and street appeal to your home? Easy. Fresh Front It. Fresh Front is Adelaide's #1 rated pressure cleaning company, making tired homes and businesses look new again. Pressure and soft washing your entire home, driveway, pavers, retaining walls and windows. Fresh Front do it all with care and expertise, plus a money-back satisfaction guarantee. Ask now for special winter rates. Visit freshfront.com.au. Looks like new.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy and 22 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Gooding.
Physio, Pilates, hydro, massage, podiatry and exercise classes. Physio Extra's Holistic Care. PhysioExtra.com.
A recovered gambling addict believes tougher laws are needed to prevent children being indoctrinated into a culture of gambling. Labor backbenchers are joining coalition MPs to call for proposed changes to gambling advertising to be strengthened to include a blanket ban on ads for social media and television. Mark Kempster says the prevalence of online betting means more children are being exposed to gambling at a younger age.
We're bringing up a generation of people, of children and young Australians who are going to be indoctrinated into thinking that you need to bet on sport. When betting is fine, you can have a bet, there's no issue with that, but we shouldn't be advertising it the way it is, because it's really no different to cigarettes. It's just as addictive, and it's an adult product that needs to be treated as such.
Police dog Axe has helped catch 2 men breaking into cars at Wavell. Patrols were called to Rose Terrace just after 5 a.m. after a witness reported seeing 2 men rummaging through his car. A 51-year-old Davern Park man and a 43-year-old from Ovingham have been arrested and are expected to be charged with illegal interference. Police suspect at least 2 cars were broken into in the area. Illegal vaping devices and more than 100 kilograms of illicit tobacco products have been seized in a raid by Task Force Morpheus. Australian Border Force officers and Consumer and Business Services raided 2 businesses in Adelaide's northern suburbs, seizing illicit cigarettes, tobacco pouches, disposable vapes and vape liquid with a street value of about $160,000. Consumer and Business Affairs Minister Andrea Michaels says it's part of an ongoing crackdown on the illegal tobacco and vape market.
The state government's invested an extra $16 million on compliance for illegal tobacco and vape. So certainly tackling it is a problem, and we're seeing some early wins on trying to disrupt that black market.
Australians will soon be able to share personal information from their phones rather than handing over sensitive documents. A digital ID platform is slated to be launched at the end of this year. Accessed via a person's MyGov wallet, the technology will store passports, driver's licences and birth certificates. Hire e-scooters are set to be banned from the streets of Melbourne. The council is taking action following a surge in complaints and will cancel contracts with e-scooter providers Lime and Neuron. Here in Adelaide, e-scooters have been operating since 2019 and legislation is being introduced to allow private e-scooters on public roads. A study has found less attractive people die younger. Researchers in the US have established less attractive men live nearly a year less on average than their better-looking peers. For women, the difference is nearly 2 years. Professor Daniel Hammermesh at the University of Texas says it's a mystery.
I can give you a bunch of reasons that don't explain it. It's not health differences. It's not income. It's
It's not how rich your parents were, not how well you did in school, not whether you're married. It's something else. And we think it's just some generalized discrimination against the bad-looking.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And welcome back, Tom Wren.
And to you as well, Graham. Looks like I've got a short life ahead of me then. Let's start with
Not
footy.
at all.
Let's start with footy. And a big blow for Adelaide ahead of the showdown with Taylor Walker ruled out of the Saturday night's match with an eye injury. He's had surgery to repair a damaged pupil, but the club has stated it's not anything like the eye injury that occurred to Rory Sloane, who was forced to retire earlier this season. Still on footy, and Sydney's forward stocks have taken another hit with Sam Wicks handed a 4-game ban over a dangerous tackle in the VFL. Tom Papley is already set to miss the final 2 rounds before the finals due to injury. Despite their win over Collingwood, there are fears the Swans' inconsistent form could see them fall out of the top 4. Coach John Longmire says he's not worried about hypotheticals.
Well, I think it's important not to live in the what-ifs. You sort of need to live in the moment, and I thought that's what we did really well on the weekend. It was 27 points down halfway through the last quarter, and we maintained our ability to be able to live in the moment, and I thought that was a real key.
Australia's Olympians are settling back into normal life after the excitement of the Paris Olympics. Natalie Deem became the first Australian woman to medal in the BMX freestyle, taking out bronze. She's told Nine's Today Show she's still on cloud 9 despite arriving home a week ago.
I know that I've got this medal, I know what I've done, but it hasn't really sunk in that I've actually achieved it. So I'm just waiting for that moment. I'm sure I'm going to have an emotional crash and be in tears soon.
And American golfer Matt Kuchar has finally completed his final round of the Wyndham Championship in North Carolina. He controversially decided to mark his ball in the rough on the 18th hole, despite everyone else having completed their round and with Kuchar no chance of winning. He did so because of fading light and was making somewhat of a protest. He resumed early Monday morning, made his par and finished in a tie for 12th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic. Thanks, Tom.
Speak to the Adelaide Convention Centre and let them elevate your vision for your next event or function.
Accident breakdown free, so no great delays for the drive-in, which is great. We are slow Port Road at Hindmarsh heading into the city. Getting a little bit busy, Fullerton Road at Glen Osmond Road, and we are slow south road at Theberton both directions. Down to 40 at Mawson Lakes, the Salisbury Highway and Eldersmith Road with the camera Tennyson Street to Karata Park. Get 25% off all Kumo tyres at My Car Tyre and Auto until the 25th of August. T's and C's apply. My Car Tyre and Auto. People first. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
22 and partly cloudy today. Tomorrow sunny 21. Thursday showers developing 24. Friday showers 17. Currently it's 18. More news as it happens on 5AA.
The business sector has had incredible advances in AI. One solution can show you how AI can streamline your business, introducing efficiencies you never thought possible. You'll save money and time, unlock new growth avenues, and you'll be keeping up with the rest of the business community. With AI and One Solution, you can innovate, optimize, and excel across every facet of your business. One Solution will show you how. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Breaking news from Yes, your energy saving solutions. Thanks to mid-year updates to the SA Government's REPS initiative, you can qualify for a new air conditioner at our lowest price ever. Yes now offers eligible concession households a fully installed 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system from only $299. Enjoy comfort all year round and join over 60,000 Adelaide homes that have said yes to lowering their energy bills. For terms and conditions on this limited offer from your energy saving solutions, visit yess.net.au.
Right Price, Adelaide's best in heating and cooling, has risen to new heights. Literally, Right Price are now your roofing people too. Same exceptional service, value and quality. From total roof replacement, including tiled roof installation, to tile roof repairs, cleaning and painting. And for peace of mind, a rock-solid quote. So the only surprise you'll get is how magnificent your roof and home looks. Do it right. Visit rightpriceroofing.com.au.
You can get your roof right at Right Price.
How to get Dad off-road with confidence and give him a shot at the ultimate Father's Day gift.
Get into TJM and check out their Father's Day sale on now. You could win the old boy or yourself a trip for two to the NRL Grand Final in Sydney with flights, accommodation and an incredible game day experience. Spend $79 or more on TJM products at TJM Ranella or Nailsworth to go in the draw. Head in store now. T's and C's apply.
To your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes to 9. Well, this is really exciting. We're joined in the 5AA Breakfast studio, as you can see on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, by Chris Burns, the CEO of the Hutt Street Centre, and J. Lee Cooper from Catherine House. Chris, J. Lee, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Great having you in again, guys. We were just chatting off air and saying that we love doing the Undy Drive, and it felt like this year, it's coming up for almost 10 years now, but it just felt like it really lifted up even more again this year. It's great how people get behind it.
Yeah, I think people are seeing more of homelessness in our community. I mean, we've experienced a 30% increase in demand. So it's more, it's in people's faces, and so they want to help and they want to support. And so what you did last week, though, was absolutely amazing. Well done.
Well, no, we couldn't have done it without, corporate South Australia, small businesses in South Australia, and just the average South Australian punter who sort of rallied behind it. Yeah. You've had a similar sort of pattern of demand as well, Jaylee. We spoke last week, and in the midst of a cost of living crisis, the pressure on organisations like yours is acute, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as well, given we're the only homelessness service in Adelaide for women, the demand is there, and unfortunately it is continuing to be on the increase. Domestic and family violence is something that we sadly all know too well about. So for us, it continues to increase the number of women that need our support each year.
Well, we have a giant cheque to produce.
We actually do.
Yeah, we do. We do. It's next to you. Do you want to grab it? Because you're in the optimum position for the
do you guys know how much
Facebook and YouTube live stream.
We don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. Do you know, Will?
I got a rough idea.
So I'm going to stand up and hold it up, and you tell me what it says.
Yeah, okay. Is that because I got 11 out of 40 on the maths test we did last week? So the number for the Hutt Street Centre and Catherine House is $68,845, raised by you, 5AA Breakfast listeners, the businesses that participated. Incredible donations. Our major sponsor, McGain Property Management, the AHA, with $15,000 they chipped in. Everyone who bought socks from roughsleeper.com.au made a donation at our website, theundydrive.com, 5AA-undydrive.com.au, or bought a $2 token at Foodland Supermarkets, where I'm told the Undy Drive was really well represented in Foodlands right around South Australia. So we thank them for their work in supporting as well. Nearly $70,000.
That is a staggering amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Thank you so much.
No, don't thank us. Like, we are just the mere conduits. It's, as I was saying, it's, pensioners putting in a $5 to the AHA putting in $15,000. That's how you end up with a figure that big.
Yeah,
absolutely
unbelievable. Thank you.
And it's so needed at the moment with the demography of the people that are coming in, people who never thought they were going to be homeless, who turn up with nothing. And to be able to go and have that hot shower and have a fresh set of undies and socks to put on afterwards is such a great feeling.
Can I ask you, when you see a sum of money like that come in, where does your mind, both of you, instantly go to? What does it get spent on? What's sort of priority one?
I look at that and I say, right, that's addressing the 80% increase in demand for material aid that we've got.
Right.
So this will go to buying undies and socks, which we so need. And it'll address that demand. That's one less thing we have to buy for next year. That leaves money now to buy food, to buy clothes, and to buy sleeping bags and what have you.
For us, I think it's it's exactly that as well. In terms of when women come, they often come just with their clothes on their back.
Yep.
So to be able to say here's some undies, or hey, we can actually get you fitted for a bra. Some women have never actually had a proper bra that fits them. So to be able to the Undy Drive has allowed us to actually do that. And actually 2 years ago, there was a woman who listened to the Undy Drive, and she now comes in and volunteers with us a couple of times throughout the year to fit the woman, because she's a professional bra fitter.
Wow. Really?
So that for us has been amazing. And then I guess, as Chris said, we're looking at then our other needs, which is obviously supporting women each night with crisis accommodation.
No, look, we've got to say it's a heavy topic, and it's a distressing topic, and people have all sorts of weird attitudes towards homelessness that are often based on, I don't know what it is, like so get a job.
Yeah.
And you think, well, you don't know what's going on in that person's life.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, like probably something that hasn't helped over the course of the time is media, in a sense that often people experiencing homelessness are portrayed in a particular way, but it's often not who we see. It's really not who we see. So I do think we need to change the conversation around any of us at any given time can have something that happens in our life that would lead us into homelessness. We are not immune.
Yeah, a heavy topic, but also one that, in a frivolous way, was also executed with a lot of fun and indeed humiliation. Look,
there was nothing more that I enjoyed than seeing Will in a port jumper.
Oh dear!
As a very passionate Port Adelaide supporter,
members of my family that are still not talking to me because of that one. I think.
Oh, look, it gives
they
us
didn't mind him being a gymnast. It was the port thing that really upset them.
Yeah,
it's true.
I thought the ribbon dance, you can't go past.
I do feel you got stitched up a bit last week. I do feel like you did.
That's exactly what I've been saying. Thank you, Jamie.
Yes, I do feel like you did, but like you say, it's all for a good cause.
No, exactly right. It was all good for the cause. It was all really good fun too. It's nice to see the way our listeners get involved and everyone gets behind supporting you, the wonderful work that you guys do.
Thanks.
So.
$68,845.
That's brilliant.
Vast amount of money. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to all of our listeners. Thanks to all the businesses that supported it. And we'll be sure, sadly, because homelessness is not a problem that is looking like it's going to go away. I reckon we'll be back here again next year, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
We will be. But it's a problem that, as Joe Lee says, any one of us could be homeless tomorrow. And it's an issue for the whole community. It's not one you can pass off to government or to a select organisation. We all have to be part of the solution. And your Undie Drive is living evidence of that. That's the whole community coming together to help the most vulnerable people.
Well, we mentioned AHA, we mentioned McGain. We should mention too a special shout out for the Guardsmen who the money raised by every coffee that was bought over the course of the whole week went towards the Undie Drive, and Sky City for matching it. As part of their donation as well. So the support for the Undie Drive is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be possible without these incredibly generous people and businesses in South Australia.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be possible if you guys didn't pull it together too. And
that's the easy bit. Apart from the dancing.
Yeah, exactly.
And the cycling. Still got to get that bike fixed. Good on you, Chris. Chris and Jaylee, thanks so much for coming in.
Pleasure.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
you soon. Cheers.
Thank you.
All right, let's check traffic. Thanks to Luba House. The leaders are transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. And Modbury Heights, a crash, McIntyre Road near the Golden Way. Got some work slowing things up at Clapham today, Springbank Road near Alberta Road. Quite slow at the moment, Grand Junction Road at Jeps Cross, and we're getting busy at Mawson Lakes, the Salisbury Hole near Eldersmith Road. Cameras, Fisher Street, Malvern and Goodwood Road at Colonel Light Gardens. Hey, thrifters, get ready to make room in your wardrobe with the Savers 50% off clothing sale. Yes, 50% off. Today only until 9 p.m. and only at Savers. Exclusions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, Tom Burlinson here, inviting you to a celebration of swing.
Somewhere beyond the sea.
The greatest songs of the style, all performed live with my swingin' band.
It's up to you, New York.
Tom Burlinson and his big band still swinging at the Capri Theatre November 8. One show only, book now. capri.org.au.
Beechwood Homes, Adelaide's leading bespoke home builder, celebrates 35 years. Over that time, they've helped many hundreds of people realise their dream of building a home exactly how they envisioned it. That's the wonderful thing about building with Beechwood. There are no set plans, no set rules. It all starts with a pen, paper, and your ideas. Just like it did 35 years ago. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Hi, Brady Bitt here from Mawson Lakes Mazda. There's a lot to like about Mawson Lakes Mazda. They'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on them. Your car gets a love too with their state-of-the-art service centre, brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, they'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Oh, we're just talking about the excellent people at Louver House. Big supporters of the Undy Drive. Use your outdoor area all year round with Louver House. They're the market leader in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
A Louver House roof will let in the perfect combination of airflow and sunlight as you need it. Plus, you can use it night and day with options like LED lighting. When the weather turns, automatic rain sensing technology keeps everything dry and protected.
So do what Will and I did. Go and visit the showroom to see for yourself. Now, everything's made here in SA from the highest quality materials and then distributed right across Australia by this great family-owned and operated business.
That's right. Don't wait. Call them today to organise a free, no-obligation design, measure and quote. They'll even come to you. See the light with Louver House. Visit louverhouse.com.au.
Head to your Hyundai dealer for run-out offers across My 24 range, petrol and diesel vehicles. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
11 to 9. It's not every day we get a new leader of a major political party in South Australia, so perhaps it should come as no surprise that we have had a huge amount of feedback to our conversation with Vincent Tarzia as part of Breaking 8 this morning. Our first opportunity to talk to him as the leader of the opposition.
Rosie says it's good to hear a Liberal politician being so positive. Do the people building up the Premier enjoy being ramped and having their surgery cancelled? Another one here about the part of the interview where we were asking whether he'd spoken to David Spears or not. Now, it wasn't quite clear if David Spears had replied.
He may have replied, but he didn't talk to him.
No. A few people were saying that just level with us. Just tell us what's going on.
There's no need to be cute.
Well, there is an alternate answer, which is, look, and he did sort of say this. It's been a difficult time for David Spears, but he could have said, well, it's all a bit raw. I'm sure I'll speak to him in good time.
Well, everyone gets it. Most people have been employed, and they get at certain times there are people that have a job and lose it and take another job, and there's,
yeah,
there can be raw nerves. Like, it's part of. We don't have to pretend that everything's hunky dory.
Tony says, morning guys, in relation to Vincent Tarzia, at least he has a winning mindset because that creates the drive and energy to make a positive difference. In relation to Mally and his charisma, ask the people if his charisma has made life any easier in South Australia. One person said they thought that Vincent Tarzia's answers about his conversations with David Spears were so poor that he'd already shown that he was not fit to be the alternative Premier. And a few Labor lovies sticking up for Mally about ramping. A few people saying it's not easy. I'd like to see you guys try. Well, in response to that, I'd say we weren't the ones who put up 10,000 posters on every Stobie pole in town 2 years ago saying we were going to fix it.
Well, I think in a political sense, the curious thing now is if you were to transpose the comments of the government now with that of Stephen Marshall previously about how hard it is and how much time it'll take, I think they sound very similar. But Stephen Marshall wasn't afforded that kind of latitude.
No, he wasn't.
So if you were saying him saying something very similar wasn't up to snuff, well, you got to be held to the standard you've set, unfortunately.
Few people upbraiding a couple of our female jurors this morning for their rather lascivious observations about the Premier's good looks. One person said, imagine if a bloke came on there and said, I love that female politician, she's so hot, I'm definitely voting for her. You'd probably get in all sorts of trouble, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. Yeah, I know that's true. That's absolutely true.
But
I also think,
not everything has to become part of some gender culture war, does it?
No,
isn't that just sort of human behaviour?
I also think
I used to enjoy voting for Barbara Weiss. That's all.
Right, there you go. I reckon everyone, if you polled them, should looks be part of politics and should be appearance and charisma. Should that be part of how everyone would say nope? You're all kidding yourself if you think that's not how that doesn't inform at least a small part of people's votes.
And it's forever been thus. And like this is one of the reasons why cartoonists exist.
Yeah.
You know, like Howard and Hawke, they both got it. You know, you think about Larry Pickering's excellent cartoons, Pickering's Jungle in the 70s. You know, and those calendars. You ever see those Pickering calendars? You're probably too young for Pickering calendars. So Larry Pickering, who was a tomato farmer before he became a cartoonist, he used to do this annual calendar. Dad always had it in his study. And they were nude portraits of politicians. Gough, Jim Cairns, Hawkey, Bill Bill Hayden. Like he did all the dramatis personae of the time in the All Together. And they sold like hotcakes. I reckon heaps of our listeners would have had Pickering calendars.
Looks and persona aren't impenetrable armour in politics, though. Like, I think Malcolm Turnbull in his leather jacket for a while there and the way he spoke had a lot of admirers. But if there's no substance behind it, you eventually get found out.
Couple of people still queuing the violin for David Spears. Seriously, it's our job to hold people up to scrutiny. And we've had massive stinks over the years with... We didn't have... I don't think for about 2 years Tom Koutsantonis didn't come on the program after that disastrous interview we had over the power failure. So it's our job to hold people up to scrutiny, and forgive us for holding to the quaint notion that if you do want to hold yourself out as the alternative premier, it's probably a good idea to be here for things like the state budget and parliamentary sitting lengths.
Paul in Hawthorn's called in on this. Morning to you, Paul.
Howdy, guys. It was quite easy for Peter Malinowskis to have press conferences at the Royal Adelaide for ramping. Unfortunately, David Spears tried it and couldn't get a car park lately because it's full of ambulances.
Well, true, Paul. Absolutely. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I think it's a good tactical move by Vincent Tarzia to write to the ambulance union. Because what's their explanation for not meeting
for their silence?
Yeah,
and not meeting with him.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's a good tactic too, because he set that up now as a story. So in 2 weeks' time, like, I was in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, we'll ask the union, have you met with him? And if not, why not? Because if they don't, it will make them look like they're partisan unionists who are doing Labor's dirty work for them. Although, ominously, their rhetoric's changed a bit in the last month, hasn't it? The ambulance union.
Well, it has to, doesn't it?
Well, otherwise they're just living in total denial.
All right, let's have a look at the fuel situation. Members save on RAA Solar, RAA Innovation Proprietary Limited, SA Building Licence number 319335. The cheap spots, it's been interesting. We had 12 months last year with an incredibly volatile fuel cycle. At the moment, we're pretty steady as she goes. It's dropped a little bit, so it's not a bad day to fill up, frankly. On the run at Stepney, you can get for $1.64. The Mobilex Convenience Jeps Cross, $1.64. And the Mobilex Convenience Virginia South, probably the best we've managed to see it, at $1.63. The cheapest diesel is, again, $1.75. I think it's been there largely all this week. This time, the BP Largs Bay is probably your best bet for that one at $1.75.
The messages are still coming in about Vincent Tarzia and his performance this morning. I'd say it's about a 50-50 split, don't you reckon?
Yep.
So they're at the love-in for the next 2 days. And
we'll get a new shadow cabinet announced.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see. Is there the Conservatives that came in to back him will be, you'd imagine, rewarded pretty heavily. So we might see some new names and some new faces that are pop up and spread the message. I think more interesting than the names and the faces is the direction. Are we going to hear a different message? Are we going to hear a different vision? Is there going to be something bold about it? Is there going to be something risky about it? That's what I'm going to be looking for. That's what I'm most interested in. Does a change of leadership, is it just David Spears who's here more often, or is this a new look party now?
Yeah,
with a new look approach. We're out of time. Matt Pantelis is coming up in just a moment. He'll take more of this conversation up very, very shortly, and we will be back tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock. We'll catch you then.